There we are. So here's the thing. I'm incredibly tired today. Like, I am so sleepy. And I tried to take a nap earlier, and it didn't work out. But, I wanted to do more killer frequency, and the sleepy situation isn't gonna be changing. So, like, I clicked into the game, and it just decided to make a loud noise. So we're just gonna be, like, super sleepy today. And we're gonna play some Killer Frequency. Maybe even finish it. I don't think it's, like, a particularly long game. Because I think, like, one of the achievements is, like, beating it in under 4 hours, and we've played for, like, 3. Not that I imagine we're gonna be finishing it in the next hour, but... I figure we could probably get through it in another stream or so. Yeah, I mean, it is just, it's a super eepy day. It's a day for everyone to be super eepy. You know. OMG, I haven't seen you since last year, Arcade. No, it is January 1st, isn't it? Happy New Year, everyone. Do with that what you will. I don't know. I actually stayed up last night until midnight, which I, like, haven't done in a really long time, cause, you know, I like to get the sleep that I can, and I did, like, sleep in a little bit this morning. I just think, like, my sleep has just been garbage over the last, like, week or so, and it's, like, finally fully caught up to me. But, no, it was really fun, like, just hanging out with folks, and we mostly just, like, watched Taskmaster, and played some video games. It was delightful. Honestly, though, I mean, not that you always sleep garbage. I'm sorry that you do. I understand this feeling, though. I had, like, a couple of weeks in there where I, like, slept pretty well. Or at least by, like, my normal standards, and that was lovely, and I think that... I think I spoiled myself with that. I remembered what actual rest was like, and my body was like, ooh, I want to do that, but I'm not gonna do that. And it's like, oh, okay. Never mind then. Yeah, I don't know. I hope your New Year's Eve and all of today has been delightful and nice. And that, you know, if you've been needing rest, you've been getting it. Or if you've been wanting to be productive, you've been able to do that. Just generally, I hope it's been a good day for you. A great year so far. Perfect. We love to hear it. I am wearing my hoodie funny because I'm simultaneously too warm and too cold. So, excuse me if I mess around with that a whole bunch. Of course, I have the hiccups now, so that's cool and fun. But yeah, I guess y'all wanna... I think we were up here in this corner here. The last time we played, I don't fucking remember. I don't think there was, like, really anything on screen that, like, you know, made it so that we needed to be anywhere in particular. I'm gonna turn that down just a smidge. Because that looked kinda loud. Oh, I probably should, like, not have that over chat either. Okay.
Peggy button when you want to get back on air.
Peggy. What happened? We've managed to, like, save everyone except for the one guy. Murphy? Was that his name? Oh, right, I have my emotional support, mousetrap. That actually, like, it does genuinely make me feel better. I love it. Yeah, we were over here. Peggy was over there. The woo-woo was somewhere. Doing all sorts of weird nonsense. Peggy, what am I supposed to do? I have no objective. The objective is to just hit the Peggy button. Okay. In that case... I guess we'll do that. I need to, like, remember the controls. It's very important that we make at least one basket. Before we start, there we go. Perfect. We've got it. Yeah. I don't remember what we did last time.
Peggy.
I mean, like, I remember overall
run another
what
segment,
happened. I
or
just don't remember the
scratch that
specifics.
Forrest. We have a caller.
We have a caller.
Okay, Forrest. Shut the music off.
Oh my god.
You're through to 189.16.
Fuck off.
The Scream. What's your emergency?
Hello again, Forrest.
Oh, it's this lady.
That call with the teens was awful.
Right.
Still,
We helped the
I'm glad
teens
the girl didn't get hurt.
at the end.
Thanks for your concern. Are you in
Oh,
trouble?
sorry.
What's on your mind?
I wanted to ask you again to play my song, Forrest. You said you were gonna play it, but you didn't.
Your name was Dawn, right?
What, Peggy? Yes.
Yeah, what's your emergency? But first you have to sit through our
My name is
first
Dawn.
or intro.
And I wanted to ask you again to play my tune, Forrest.
Hey,
Long
here's
Ride Home.
here's the
You
thing,
know,
Dawn.
The one that Peggy said she threw outside the window?
Wait, how do you know that? Maybe another
I'll
song?
play a track for you, Don, but maybe pick another one.
I didn't think we were on the
exactly
air
have
when
that
she
one in
when Peggy
rotation,
mentioned that she
so-
threw it out the window.
No, Forrest. You do have it. It's just outside the window.
There's a serial killer on the loose. I can't
She's
just
totally
go
gonna
outside
woo
hunting
woo
for a
us for
record.
not having her
I'm
song.
really sorry, Dawn, but we just can't get it right now.
But wasn't the Whistling Man just at the old murder house? That's
Dawn,
miles from the station.
listen to it yourself.
Crap it.
Well, I guess it's like 1980 something, isn't it? Try again tomorrow.
Tomorrow when this is all over.
What year is it?
Don, and I'll
Yeah,
gladly
1987.
Play it for you
Okay,
then.
never mind. We don't have
No,
YouTube.
No, that won't do. Don't worry. I think I can bring you around. Forrest? Peggy, I'm calling with more than a request. I know something. I think I know who's gonna be next.
What?
Dawn is totally the
Play
woo
my
woo.
song,
I think she
Forrest,
knows who the
and
woo
you'll
woo
find
is.
out.
Okay.
Well, folks, here's some music for you.
That
while
groan.
I think things over.
I mean, we'll go from the back and work our way forward. We don't need to
Is
introduce
she
the song.
serious, Peggy?
She's serious about hearing that song, that's for sure.
Peggy won't leave her
Peggy,
stupid
I
fucking
mean, Is she
booth.
serious about?
I don't know, Forrest, but we don't really have a choice.
I want
do
her to
we?
go get it.
If
It
she's
is her
telling the
fault.
truth-
What are you doing? You want me to... If she's telling the truth... Oh, you want me to... Okay. Why don't you go?
Then why don't you go and get it?
It's one of Reggie's K-Fam regulations. I can't leave the booth while we're on air.
Peggy,
Just, you can do it, okay?
No.
fine.
I need to get more...
You're a
More
good man,
Aquaphor?
Forrest. I'll slide you the key to the fire door.
You dick.
A fire door
Arcade.
has to be unlocked.
Yeah, it, you know, I never thought about it, but yeah. We should talk to Reggie about that later.
Yeah, that
Anyway,
seems like
I'll
a...
hold the board down while you're out.
She just
Don't
doesn't
even
want to
get a
leave.
caller. That could be exciting.
189.16, The Scream. With me, Peggy.
Whatever, Peggy. I am so sick of her. Jesus fuck.
Locked tight.
How's the game sound so far? Is it fine? We good? Is this the fire? No. Okay. Sounds like sound. Perfect. I just want to make sure it's not too loud or anything. Because there were a couple of times last time where it was very loud. I don't want to be out here.
You know, I hope she'll be happy when I'm brutally murdered by the Whistling Man.
Don't say that.
Out here, in the open, alone.
There he is! There's the woo-woo! Sorry, I don't know why I screamed about that. Well, we have the
Here
barn
it is.
finds.
Long ride home.
We saw woo-woo. Hello? Was that me? Did I do that? Okay, I'm gonna go back inside immediately.
Of course. It locks behind
No.
me. And of course the key doesn't work on this side.
No. No.
Maybe there's another way back
No.
in through the basement. A door, elevator, something.
Oh, this is horrible. I don't want to be out here. We woo for woo. Woo. There's no handle on this side. I want to leave immediately.
Looks like I'm gonna have to hunt around for some new fuses. Nah, that's not right. Do the fuses add up properly?
Okay, okay, we got a fuse puzzle because it wouldn't be a horror game without a fuse puzzle. Need to add up to 70? Is that what that's saying? It's fine. We'll wander around. I mean, this is very, like, middle of nowhere. Building isn't up to code, kind of a situation, right? Oh, nope, that's not a fuse. That is a can. I just don't want to get woo-wooed. You know? So we're at 65. We need 5 more. Or 4 more. Hello? Yeah, it's real red and purple outside. Oh boy.
Bingo!
Why is that so loud? Why is that so loud? I don't want to be out here anymore. I have decided.
I could probably survive that fall.
Well, good, because we have? We should close this, Forrest. Consider. Oh god. We're just gonna leave that open, huh? Okay.
Looks like the
Okay.
janitor's closet. What did Peggy say his name was? Clive?
The fuck, Clive? Yeah, if we can get in the woo
What the
can.
hell? Peggy's not gonna believe this.
Okay, we have Gallows Creek Game Day. Gallows Creek High versus Quiet Ridge High Division 2, Saturday 8th, March 1969, kickoff at 3 p.m. Oh, there's a lot here, huh? Call for donations to help Chuck Brody. Former Gallows High football captain Chuck Brody suffered a career-ending injury as a victim of the festival disaster late last year. To help him on his road to recovery, we're buying him some lottery tickets. Hopefully he gets lucky and can get back on his feet. Pun not intended. Drop tickets in the bucket below. Thanks. There's no bucket. Local doctor Kay Walker recommends all locals get their flu shot ASAP. Flu season is upon us. 84 is no different to any other year. Make sure you're protected. Yeah, I'd believe it. This is just a very normal janitor's office. Mind Myself 1969 has been a great year so far. Staff surge at Power Station. Gallows Creek Power Station hires 20 new staff in record high, 12 of which were students from Gallows Creek. Ant Williams, Rebecca Allen, Kim Walker, Chuck Brody. Okay. Wait. Didn't we help some of these people? Hold on a second. I'm gonna... Maybe we didn't. I don't remember who we've helped, but some of those names sound familiar. We helped Sandra Sharp, Maurice Russell, Virginia Sullivan, and Eugene Stein. Okay. So none of them. Understood. Hospital, power station, trailer park, gas station. Would like to celebrate the marriage of Kim Walker and Peter Stein. That's Eugene's parents, right? Oh. Crime Syndicate impounded. No, I didn't want to pick it up. I just wanted to read it. Okay. Police today finally put an end to the long-running car thieving crime syndicate. Arrests were made after a member gave up information on their co-conspirators to investigators. The informant, who asked to remain anonymous and will hereafter be referred to as R.A., has walked free with no charges. R.A. I mean, Rebecca Allen. Car Club. Aunt Williams, also Car Club. Sorry, I'm like, oh, that one scared me. Give me that.
There's a key. I'll just take that.
Oh, God.
Important.
Anything under there? No. What are you pointing at? I feel like them pointing is kind of important. Yeah, the horror sting got me as well. You don't have a hand. Hold on. Local legend takes to Manhattan. That's just those closing. Infamous author of Tell-All Book Diary of a Car Thief moves out of Gallows Creek for a new life in the big city. She stole our cars, and she stole our time and money, said our reviewer Jim Randy last year. 24-hour gas station bought by local ex-lottery winner. Christine's Gas and Repairs has been sold to a man who won the lottery 14 years ago. New owners claim it will keep me busy on an evening. He is asked to remain anonymous. Is your car safe? Sheriff Matthews warns citizens to look out for suspicious behavior after multiple car thefts. Crime wave of 70 will be stopped, I can assure you. We must work together to bring down this criminal organization. Okay. Featuring special mystery guest. The lead engineer responsible for the Gallows Creek Harvest Festival disaster in 1972. Beep beep, look out, tragedy. 5 dead, 16 injured after brakes fail on bus. Tragedy struck Gallows Creek yesterday afternoon after a bus failed to stop and crashed into a fuel tanker. The deceased have been identified as Gallows Creek locals Mr. D. Rudd, Mr. M. Houghton, Mr. P. Stein, Mrs. K. Stein, and Miss J. Mildred. Police have asked for privacy for the families of the victims. The incident is not being treated as suspicious. Okay. Well, I don't know that this is important, but I mean, Chuck Brody bought the gas station, right? Because he purchased a whole bunch of... Again, I don't know why I'm doing any of this right now. It doesn't really matter. Who was the Kay Walker? Kim works at the hospital. Okay, yeah, let's put this in a more intelligent place. Yeah, we're just snooping. It's fine. So Brody works at the gas station. Kim is at the hospital. Trailer for sale cheap. Contact estate agent Tyler Wallace. I'm sick of being a local celebrity. People are so mean to me. I only stole a few cars. Who cares? Buy a new one. I'm selling my trailer and leaving town ASAP. Just want to get out of here. Please buy it. Is that going to be Rebecca? Aunt Williams. Is he the engineer? I haven't read anything about him yet. Is the thing. Oh, here it is. Literally the one that's right in front of me. 2-year investigation into the festival accident has concluded. Investigators blame 2 engineers that were contracted in from the local power station. Power station. Oh, I guess I could probably, like, put these next to their names. So, Rebecca... Chuck. Kim. Rebecca. And they've done a very bad job of organizing their little board here. Kim is at the hospital. Aunt is the power station. Rebecca Allen is at the trailer park, or was, at least. And Chuck Brody is at the gas station. Gallows Creek Harvest Festival closed early this year after a tragedy struck only hours after opening. That would be... Aunt, right? This would go under Rebecca. This goes under Aunt. What is this? Car broke. I don't know what that's important. Yeah, we're just fucking all of his shit up. Listen, again, kind of organized it in a real bad way. Power station. Go here. We'll figure out where that one goes in a minute. Trailer park. Moving to Manhattan. Gas station bought by lottery winner. Do you care about health and safety? Good. Come to this convention. That's gonna be Ant. Because he's the secret engineer. Kim Walker. Is that Brody then? I mean, the assumption is yes, right? That's gonna be Kim. What would this be then? Not sure. Is your car safe? Goes there. Put that there. That goes there. Okay. I fixed it. Oh, do you want... No. Is somebody missing an arm? You were, right? No. You are. Keep hearing things in the background. What, you like it when it just goes... Wait, like that? I'm gonna bring this with me. I've decided. Hello? Hello? Yeah, we have our mousetrap for support. For like emotional support, and then excuse you.
I wonder how the show's going.
And then we've got an arm as protection. I hate it down here, and I don't want to be down there anymore. But also, we should lock the door. We should close the elevator. I mean, it's too late now, right? It's far too late now. The woo-woo is in here. He lives here now. I don't have to close the doors behind me. But I'm going to because it's scary when they close by themselves. And they're very loud when they do.
Isn't that such a good song, folks? And now for... Jesus,
Peggy!
Forrest, you've been gone for ages. I thought something had happened.
No!
Clive, the janitor?
Okay.
Might be Clive,
Okay.
the murderer.
What?
Start from the beginning. The fire.
Okay. Oh, okay. I was like, why is the sound fading out like this? It's because
Why did you heave that thing
Fading
all
out.
the way up here?
we have a problem, Peggy. She didn't
Because
even
the
check to see if we
basement's
were
dirty as hell,
alive.
And I don't like standing around down there.
Fair.
Well, I mean, we
All
stood
right,
around
let's run through
quite
this
a bit,
again.
actually,
We have a creepy
Forrest.
board you found in a creepy basement,
It's
made by
2:40,
our
that's right
creepy
now.
janitor, who you think is the creepy whistling man.
Yep.
Well,
And on the creepy board are the names Chuck Brody, Kim Walker, Rebecca Allen, and Aunt Williams.
Correct.
And you think one of these people will be the whistling man's, Clive's, next target.
I don't
That's
know that it's
We've gotta
Clive.
find him.
You said there are 4 locations listed there too?
Yeah.
The hospital, the power station, the gas
It's
station.
funny if we're live right now, right? Everyone can just hear us.
Clive must think the target is at one of those locations. Forrest, you're gonna have to figure out if any of the potential targets are at one of these locations tonight. Hit the button if you need any help.
Well, I mean, oh! They brought the board up, and they moved everything around. They brought the board up, and they moved everything back. I am livid right now. Well, we did all this work already. So that's cool. That's cool for us. Rebecca... We'll move Aunt over in a minute. Just want to give them all just a touch more room. Okay, that's Kim. That's Chuck. That'll be Aunt. Put that there. That there. Justice for Festival victims? It's got Aunt's name on it. Beep beep, look out! I guess this might be under Kim's, right? Because she married a Stein? P. Stein? K. Stein. Okay. Kim is fucking dead. She is on the list of people who died because she married Peter Stein, right? So it wouldn't be too out of the realm of possibility that she took his last name. So Kim is fucking dead. Great, we know now. Rebecca's in Manhattan unless she like moved back for some reason. Aunt is at Quiet Ridge. Is your car safe? Probably not. I mean, that's 1986. So that's last year. Chuck is probably at the gas station still. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Kim Walker walks no longer. She's fucking dead. Okay, I'm ready.
How's it going?
I'm ready.
Ready, Peggy?
Are you sure? We've only got one shot at
Yeah,
this.
it's Brody. Let's do
I'm
this.
sure. Let's do this.
Okay, name first. Who do you think the target is?
I think it's Chuck Brody.
Chuck Brody.
And where will I find them?
Gas station.
The gas station.
Okay, I'm dialing. One moment.
I'm gonna turn that off.
Hello?
Chuck Brody! Listen, I know this sounds crazy, but we have reason to believe the Whistling Man is coming for you. You need to get yourself and everyone else out right now.
The Whistling Man? Who the hell are you? Who is this?
It's
This is
Forrest
Nash.
Nash.
Listen, the
Oh.
Whistling Man's back. We found a list with your name on it, and
Oh God. It's today. The year I finally let myself forget.
Forget what?
Forget what?
Forget. No, no, man. I gotta get out of here.
I mean, you do. And I did tell you to get out of there. The anniversary
I think he
of
ran
my
off.
woo-woo.
Well, fingers crossed that Chuck... Jesus!
It sounds like something blew up.
I mean-
using bombs now?
No, it's just a gas station.
Is Chuck?
I don't know.
It's a
Hang
gas
on.
station
We're
blowing
getting
up.
a
It's
call.
fine.
Hello?
Chuck?
Chuck Brody survived the whistling man. I got the achievement.
The whole goddamn gas station's gone up.
Is anyone hurt?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I got everyone to follow me out. The town's only ambulance was blown to hell, though.
Oh, yikes.
Yeah. Damn it, that fireball threw me. I've got to get to the hospital. I'm not feeling great.
Where's the
Forrest,
hospital?
man, I can't thank you enough, but yeah, I gotta go.
Yeah, get out of here, man.
Wait, damn it. We lost him. What was that about today?
I mean, today's the
Forrest,
anniversary.
The call board is lighting up. Get us into some music while I deal with this.
Okay.
Here's some music while we regroup here on KFAM 189.16, The Stream.
We'll play her stupid song. Dawn's stupid song.
A classic backed by popular demand. This is Long Ride Home.
Ponty's
Barn Find.
Pizza! No promo. We're not promoing you here. Welcome in. Sorry, I had to accept, or I had to add permitted term dumb bitch dumb, apparently. But welcome in. How's it going?
There's gotta be more in the basement to show us who Clive is targeting. And
Oh,
if
you
that's
want
the
me to-
case, we can get ahead of him. Stop the killings before they can happen.
You
Forrest,
want me to go back to the
we need to
basement?
go back down.
By we, you mean me, right?
Also, yeah, this
Yep.
song's kind of
Like I
a
said,
little
I need to handle all
lackluster.
these calls. Maybe start with that creepy mannequin room you mentioned before. I still have a lot of questions about those, by the way.
I mean,
Me too.
I have... Yeah, she wants us back in the basement. I did find that key down there, so we could probably try and find the door that goes to.
I'm not getting in there tonight.
Okay. You don't want... I mean, it's nice to know I'm not the only one who's just like, hey, fuck the basement? Sorry, why is the music getting scary? I keep seeing this fucking water cooler and thinking it's like a dude. And I have since we started playing, and I hate it. Okay, we've got our mouse trap. Great. I'm prepared for anything. I forgot our arm, but I do need to have at least one hand free at any given time, so... Hello? I don't want to go downstairs.
Needs a key.
Is the thing. I don't... I have to go downstairs. We have to go back downstairs. We have to go back downstairs. Fuck, I hate it here. Dead flies. I swear I think I keep thinking I'm hearing like somebody running around in the game. Great. Cool. Did I look in here? I did. Okay. Let's close that. Arcade, you have to announce your presence before you start running around. Otherwise, I'll get scared.
A key?
Oh, now you're...
Is this always here?
It was.
I must
because
have missed it when I brought everything upstairs.
you didn't, because we... Oh! Basement storage. I don't want to be down here. Who's gonna get us? Not over there. I guess it would be the door on the other side, right? Right. The sting when you pick stuff up is a little excessive at times. What can you do?
Hey, Forrest!
Peggy!
Jesus
give me a warning
fucking
before you yell down
Christ,
the intercom?
Peggy!
Sorry. What have you found, Forrest? Buzz
I've
the
only
intercom
just
when you
gotten
find
in
something
here.
and want to discuss it.
I think I need to keep looking.
All right, then. Buzz the intercom when you find something and want
We
to discuss it.
have a map, but we have a map upstairs. We have a new
Peggy,
tape.
I've found a tape and a map down here.
A map of what?
Looks like it might be to somewhere in this storage area.
Weird. Well, maybe the tape will give us more information. Give it a play.
Okay, well, can I play it down here? I can. Light, you're very much...
George Barrow, 1968. That's when this all began for me. Follow the maps, find the tapes. I'll be waiting.
Wait. George Barrow?
That's what he
I
said?
heard that he drowned after a night out drinking. Was it actually Clive? Has Clive really been the whistling man for that long?
He says I need to follow the maps and find the tapes.
Oh my god.
I guess that's what this map is about.
I think we
Is
need to
it?
see what else is hidden down here. Be careful, Forrest. Keep looking. Buzz the intercom when you found something.
Okay, I'll let you know, but I need to... God, I hate it down here. It says that there's a tape recorder, like, right here. But there's also a picture. So let's...
Time of autopsy is 7
Drank too many liquids.
Cause of
Couldn't
death
breathe.
is asphyxiation from drowning.
It's so quiet. Hold on.
Rigor mortis
Sorry.
indicates that the subject has been deceased for 5 hours. That puts the time of death.
Okay. Sorry about the flashing lights. God, I hate it here. Why?
Small lacerations to arms, legs, and face, typically obtained by running through foliage. Severe blistering
This
to
looks
the
useful.
feet.
No, wait, I'm trying to read
The
that.
deceased had been running without stopping.
Sheriff J. Matthews. Complaint's name is Miss Sandra Sharp. Telephone call. 4 a.m. a call was received from a jogger, a Miss Sandra Sharp, who we saved, reporting that a body had been found washed up in the reservoir. I drove out to investigate and was able to identify the body at the scene as that of George Barrow. I contacted the coroner's office and then the boy's parents. They informed me that they had not seen him since 7 p.m. on the 2nd. Okay. That's Jazz Lady. Sandra is. Okay. I mean, there's numbers on it. So I want to... Actually, I could just write those down. No, we'll take it with us. I hate it here. I do not wish to be here. This fucking sucks.
Additionally, there appears to be a post-mortem injury to the arm. It looks like it was trapped in a car door.
Oh, did they all... You said it was trapped in a car door. His arm was, right? George's arm. So, were all these kids involved in the car theft that was going on? And, something a little not great happened?
Now this has to be important.
Or no, they chased him and he fucking died. Okay. The decedent is George Theodore Barrow. He was 18 years of age. He lived on Carpenter Avenue. Wait, does this take place in Iowa? Gallows Creek, Iowa? Okay. He was found dead. The deceased is a Caucasian male, age 18. The cause of death is established to be drowning, as shown by the signs of asphyxiation. See section 12, paragraph 4 for more details. Abrasions were found on the knuckles, likely from getting into fights in the past. Matches with known history of the deceased being aggressive. No other injuries were observed, and from the coroner's opinion, there is no evidence of foul play. Additionally, the preliminary toxicology report indicates the deceased had a high level of alcohol in their blood. It is of the coroner's opinion that the deceased went swimming while intoxicated, resulting in this drowning. I'm sorry I made you do this, Virginia. It was signed off by Virginia. Clearly, someone... Keep hitting the wrong button, sorry. Forged all of that. Okay, we'll just... leave that there. Humpty Dumpty. Story of love, tragedy, and betrayal. Starring Maisie Cartwright as Dawn, George Barrow as Henry, also with Marie Campbell as Anne. Wait, Dawn? Man door handle, car door. Yeah, this image is, wild. But also, Dawn?
If you're listening to this, then I'm probably dead.
Okay.
What the...
I'm a man who likes to stay informed. I've got subscriptions to newspapers all over the country. A few weeks ago, I noticed headlines cropping up in those papers, one after the other. Each headline...
I have to allow her dumb bitch dumb song.
Murder. The death of someone I knew.
I'm just gonna point out every time I have to allow a new phrase. Thank you, Arcade, for putting Automod on on high alert. Our girl Dawn and her dumb bitch dumb song. Facts.
I don't think we deserve killing.
Okay.
All I hope now is that I can save some folk from the worst.
But those are legs.
I don't know. Do something to make up for what I did back then, I guess.
Okay.
I didn't kill anyone, mind you. But that's past mattering. Now, there's more I could say than I should say. But my employer made it clear that my family would pay a high price if I ever spoke out. So, hopefully I've said enough for you, listener, whoever the hell you are, to start putting the truth together.
Okay. Sorry, I don't like climbing through here. I especially don't like the fact that I don't have a run button, which likely means that they're not gonna make me run from someone. But also, what if they did?
found, Forrest?
Lots.
It's an autopsy tape. Doesn't say for who.
No,
but
it's for George. We know.
I think it must be for George.
Poor George. He was so young.
Something's bugging me, Peggy.
What do you mean?
I swear I recognize the voice of the woman talking.
Is
on
it
the tape.
Dawn?
I just can't place it.
Seriously?
Did she? I mean Victoria. Hold
I
on.
don't know. I mean, I just
I
got
already-
here recently.
Forgot the names on
I don't
that
know.
Humpty Dumpty.
Found another tape. It talks more about how George died.
On that Humpty
did it
Dumpty pamphlet. Did it say that
Sounds
like
he was running
Victoria
for his life. Sprinting through trees
or
and
Virginia?
bushes,
Excuse me,
getting cut
Virginia
up all
was
over.
Dawn.
What would drive someone to do that?
I'm not sure yet. I found a tape that introduces a new detail to the story. Post-mortem injury. Apparently, his arm got caught in a car door.
A car door?
Yeah, after he died. How do you suppose
That is
they
what
can tell?
postmortem means,
How
Forrest.
can they tell? I'm a radio producer. not
It's
a
because
coroner.
bodies don't bruise the
Hmm.
same way after they've
The written
died
report I
that they
found doesn't
do
mention it at all.
when they're
How
alive.
did his arm get trapped in a car door after he died?
That's how you can
Unless
tell.
he got it when the police collected his body, I guess someone else must have moved him after he was dead to where he was eventually found.
But the report. What is going on here?
I found a police report. Mentions a friend from earlier, Sandra Sharp.
Sandra. The jazz runner?
That's
Mhm.
right. She found George's body washed up at the reservoir.
The reservoir?
Yeah? What's strange about that?
George got cuts from running through foliage, right? But there's no forest around there. Also,
He was a zombie who
how
makes
did it wash up at the
rules.
reservoir?
What do you mean?
Reservoirs don't have tides.
But that's what the police report said.
It's not possible, though. I did a school project on reservoirs and got an A.
Yeah, okay,
But-
nerd.
Yeah, not important right now. The important thing is that it doesn't make sense.
What are you
Mhm.
suggesting then? That the body was originally found somewhere other than what the report suggests? That the sheriff tried to
Excuse
cover
me.
it up, but
I mean, he did.
accidentally let something slip?
Something like that. I think.
Well, Sheriff Matthews wrote the report. If he hadn't been eviscerated, we could have asked him.
Yeah, but why do you think he was
But
eviscerated?
Sandra is still alive. Once we're done down here, we should give her a call.
In another tape, the coroner
Oh
comes
my
to the same
goodness.
conclusion as I did. George was running from something.
Maybe an animal?
Or a group of
Maybe,
kids that were being
but
rude?
Then there's this next bit, where the coroner thinks he was moved post-death.
So she agrees with us.
At the end of the tape, someone burst in and demanded the doctor, Dr. Sullivan, to stop recording.
Dr. Sullivan.
I'd be sad if
Wait,
Sandra was dead,
Virginia
actually.
Sullivan?
I like Jazz
She
Lady.
was our caller from earlier.
Well, then our caller was involved in a conspiracy around this boy's death. We need to call her back once we finish down here. It looks like she might know something about what's going on. I found a written autopsy
Okay,
report.
I can't go
What
upstairs
did it
yet.
say?
According to that, it's just like you said at the start. George drowned after getting drunk. Said he liked to fight, too.
The drinking and drowning
Oh,
matches with what I
yeah.
heard,
There's also a note
No,
story
okay,
in
I
the
remember.
report.
Yeah, I remember
I'm
Virginia now.
Sorry I made
So
you
for
do
Virginia
this.
and Dawn aren't the same?
Virginia.
but if it was on the autopsy report, then Virginia must be our coroner. Wait, the caller from earlier, when we had to call the takeout restaurants, wasn't her name Virginia?
Mm-hmm.
I think I found Clive's last recording.
She is partying with the
I
frat
think
boys.
Clive might be gone.
Gone?
Dead.
I found a confession.
He's dead.
Not for any killings, but for playing a part in covering up George's death.
We
He
did get
left
that
this
2-for-1
behind in
pizza from
case he
Ponti's
died.
Pizza.
He
Thanks,
hoped someone
Ponti's
would
Pizza.
find it.
Do you think the whistling man already got him?
I mean,
Possibly.
probably.
We've had a lot of callers tonight, but maybe not every victim made it to the phone, you know? We don't know how many there really are.
Christ, Forrest, that's dark.
I know, but
But
Clive
realistic?
said he'd read about other murders in other towns, and that the murders were all folks who knew about the incident.
Okay, so
And
like,
the killings were getting closer to Gallows Creek.
yikes.
He said he wanted to do something good for once.
The board in his office. He wasn't tracking people down to kill them. He was tracking them down to save them. Ugh, why didn't he just come out with all of this?
He said his employer threatened his family if he spoke out about any of it.
Is it Reggie?
His employer? The one who orchestrated the cover-up? Oh, Clive.
Not our beautiful boy
Sorry
Reggie.
for thinking you'd killed all those people. Do you think you
But
found everything for us?
radio
There's
station
gotta be
Reggie.
more down here. I need to find all the tapes.
You think so? How much did Clive hide down there? Well, if there are more tapes, then there must be more maps to follow, right?
That seems to be the case.
All right then. Buzz the intercom when you find something and want to discuss it.
Can you imagine? Radio station Reggie. Beautiful. DJ Reggie.
Do you think you found everything, Forrest?
I think there's gotta be more down here. I need to find
What do you
all
mean
the
you have to
tapes.
find all the tapes?
How much did Clive hide down there?
Oh my god.
Well, if there are more tapes, then there must be more maps to follow, right?
That seems to be the case.
All right then. Buzz the intercom when you find something and want to discuss it.
Okay. Oh my goodness. That's nothing. Close that. What's this? Hold on a second. Okay. Sorry. I have upstairs neighbors who are dicks, and they like to stomp directly above my head. Right, thanks Peggy for sitting in your pretty little recording room while we die. Don't apologize to Peggy. She knows what she's done. What do we have here? Starling Security, Delivery and Installation. C. Atkins. Is that Clive? I mean, we don't really know what his last name is, do we? He put stuff at every... Okay, sorry. We've got some at the hospital, and it was delivered and installed. The gas station that Chuck worked at, delivered and installed. Ricky's roller rink had some delivered and installed. What did Ricky do? Woodside Apartments, that's a Silent Hill reference. Were delivered but not installed, unable to install, require new parts, new installation date 17th of September. KFAM radio station, client opted for manual installation, so those were delivered but not installed. Okay. Oh god, this is gonna be important. Blah. Can't open that. Why the fuck did that open? Hey. Oh god.
Do you think you found everything, Forrest?
I think there's gotta be more
Oh
down
my
here.
god, shut up.
I need to find all
Both
the
of
tapes.
you.
You think so?
Oh, I threw it.
How much did Clive hide
Okay.
down there? Well, if there are more tapes,
Put that there.
must be more maps to follow, right?
That seems to be
Peggy.
the case.
All right then. Buzz the intercom when you find something and want to discuss it.
I did find something and I want to discuss it. I have this. Can I go upstairs? I hate to do this. But we're gonna put that there. And we're gonna take these upstairs. Never mind. We can't go upstairs. Not allowed. You know, it's kind of for the best though, because then I can take this with me. I mean, there's probably more horrible things in the big back room back there, right? So, yeah, we do get to keep our mousetrap, and we do love that. Excuse me. I do kind of need to go to the bathroom. We've only been streaming for an hour, and I need to pee. I'm sorry. I will be right back. I also need to refill my water because it's nearly empty. So, un momento, por favor. No need to fear. I have not been woo-wooed. I am back. I appreciate y'all waiting. I needed. Listen, I've drunk so much water today. Okay, can I? The lighting in this room fucking sucks. I feel like I found all the tapes, right? We played that one. They were green before I played them, right? Or they were green. Yeah, they were green prior to me playing them, and then they turned red once I played them, correct? Okay. Close. Looked. I don't know what else there is here. I feel like I've looked at everything. Have I not? I mean, it's very possible that I haven't. You know? Sometimes I'm a silly goober. Do I need to take that back out there? I'm safe. Oh.
Ooh, a new vinyl for my collection.
Jesus. I have collected all the hidden records around the station. It's the achievement that I just got. Maisie Cartwright as Dawn. Okay, again, I love you, Mousetrap. We are a silly little radio station. We're all a silly little radio station. Do I need to bring these out with me? Is that...
Preliminary toxicology results shows no signs of inebriation. However, a high amount of cortisol was found.
I think we've listened to this one.
Indicating elevated levels of stress in the
Sorry you got ad attacked. I have set them down to, like, the lowest amount that I can possibly have. While I'm not, like, you know, a big streamer, the ad revenue does help. So I appreciate you sitting through them. it's very nice. Like I said, just very appreciated. Bye. We did have to put our mousetrap down. I'm sorry. I'll pick up another one as soon as I can. Aww. Aww. I'm gonna get so mad.
What have you found, Forrest?
There's also a tape about
Okay.
a toxicology
I did miss the one.
There were no signs of drinking or that he was on anything.
Okay.
What? But everyone said he went swimming drunk and drowned. It was in the newspaper and everything.
I need to...
Right? But we already know
Stretch.
the official written report was a lie.
We do. Why would the official report lie about how he died?
Oh my god, because
The
cops are
report lied
corrupt,
because
my
someone wanted a
dude.
closed case.
Duh.
Because they didn't want anyone
Peggy,
to
get
look
with the
into his death.
times.
Do you think you found everything?
I think so.
Thank God.
What's going on here?
Someone wanted that boy's death to seem like an accident. And they hired Clive to make it look that way.
We're gonna take
Come
these
back
with us.
upstairs when you're ready. We need to
Because
figure
these
out our next step.
seem important. We uncovered Clive's research. Also, it's 3 a.m.
Thank God you're back, Forrest. I've been running out of stuff to pad our airtime with.
Peggy,
I've also been listening to this garbage.
I'm stressed. I mean, really, how are we supposed to keep a show going with all this happening?
It's our job.
This is our job, Peggy. We gotta do it.
You're right.
Gotta do it.
So, what's the plan now?
I think we
Can
should
I
call
not hang that up?
Virginia back.
All right,
Okay.
I'll get her on the line.
Hello again, Gallows Creek. This is
Well,
Forrest Nash.
I'm gonna
We're circling
put
closer to the truth behind tonight's events.
these here for now, because this is
To
just kind of where
this
we're keeping
end,
all of
we're
our
calling back one of our earlier
extra
callers,
nonsense.
Virginia Sullivan.
Okay.
Fredman Plunker here.
Hey, Plunker!
Who's this? Is it you? Goose.
It's not Goose.
Plunker,
It's Forrest.
Hey, it's the Radio Man, Forrest Nash.
Radio Man?
Here's Radio Man.
Up?
Solving mysteries,
Sup, my
saving
dude?
lives. The huge.
The huge.
Right on.
Plunker, what are you doing at Virginia's house?
She asked if we could stay to keep an eye out for that whistling turd. So we're hanging out, bro.
Why wouldn't she want to talk to us?
Well, that's big of you, Plunker.
Listen.
No.
We're a
It's
cool
nothing.
guy. We saved her life.
Can
We've
I speak to Virginia?
made her have
Sure
friends.
thing, Radio Man. I'll just go get her.
Thanks, bud.
Who is this?
Hey, Virginia, it's Forrest. I'm glad you're still okay.
Oh, Forrest. Sorry, I'm still jumpy.
That's okay. Don't be sorry.
I'm sorry. You've been through a lot.
I'm
I do
so
like that
sorry
we are
this happened
airing
to you,
this.
Virginia.
I thought I was. I thought.
It's okay. You weren't. I mean,
Easy. We're not calling to
you
talk
could have
about
been,
earlier.
but you're
We're
not.
calling because we think
Also, my
you
glasses
can
are
help
filthy.
us understand why this is happening tonight.
Oh God.
Me? What would I know?
Clive?
Does the name Clive mean anything to you?
Clive?
Don't be sorry.
No.
You're gonna be
I don't know that
sorry.
name.
Sorry, the way that I have to
are you
squint to
asking
be able to
about
read
this
that.
for?
You mentioned that name earlier when you called us the first time.
I don't know what I said then. I was
Oh yeah,
petrified,
she did
Forrest.
mention Clive.
That's the janitor at our station, and we know you spoke to him in the past.
Forrest, please. You don't know what you're doing. He'll come for me.
Virginia, it's okay. Clive won't be coming after you.
We think Clive's dead.
Dead? But isn't he? He's the whistling man, Forrest.
No.
We thought so too, but
You don't understand. All those years ago, he...
It's okay, Virginia. He's gone. We found evidence
Ain't.
to suggest he...
He ain't.
Well,
and we found your autopsy reports for George Barrow.
How? I saw him destroy them.
Well,
Well,
it looks like he
didn't.
kept
I don't know if he
copies.
kept them or made copies or what, but we found them, And we know it's related to what's happening tonight, which is why we called you. Why did you write a false report?
Because she was intimidated.
All right. One day, I came into work to find a boy on my slab. And as I finished the autopsy, this man, Clive, he just burst in. And he started making demands to give over the reports, to falsify what I found. Of course I said no.
Boy slab work.
When
Arcade,
someone
please.
wants to make you do something, they can use the carrot or the stick. For me, he used both. You see, my sister is sick. She has a chronic condition that's never going away. It's expensive to treat, and it was getting to where I couldn't afford it. And Clive promised me that his employer would pay for my sister's treatment if I did what he said, and that if I ever spoke
Not a
about
stick,
this,
sister.
he'd beat me to within an inch of my life.
Jesus.
I don't know why he had me do it, but my sister needed me.
Okay.
You have to understand. She
I'm not
needed me.
We
I'm not
understand.
blaming you.
Thank you,
fine.
Virginia. That was brave.
God, I just want this nightmare to end.
Stickster.
This will help end it, Virginia. Thank you.
Stay safe, Virginia.
Stickster. Do we have...
So, Virginia's tied up?
Clive threatened her to keep quiet about George's death. But for who? Why cover up these details?
Because Clive was involved?
Well, we know Sandra was involved in
Either
George's death.
directly involved,
call her?
or
I do.
All
knew
right,
somebody
but
who
before we
was?
go asking questions, I think we should know what we want to ask.
Hey,
Is that
everybody.
fair?
Yeah.
Time
We
for our
need to
next
ask her about
song.
finding the body. She was the one who discovered it, but something just doesn't add up.
100%. She knows more
Okay.
than she's saying.
I wonder what she's hiding.
We'll hopefully find out soon. Anyway,
But we love
just
Sandra.
be careful when you're talking to her. Don't push too hard. We don't want her to hang up.
I'll be
We'll just
careful.
keep talking to
All
her
right,
about
calling her now.
jazzercising.
Hopefully she's at her jazz studio. Aha!
Sorry, this
Forrest,
is what we
you're
do
through.
now.
Hello, this is Sandra at Jazz Pizzazz Jazz Studio. Who is this?
Hello again, Sandra! It's Forrest Nash of 189.16, The Stream. And you're live on air.
Oh, I always thought folks called into a radio show, not the other way around.
They usually do, but it's fine.
What can I do for you?
Well, we're trying to understand what's behind the attacks tonight. We had a few questions.
Why, Forrest, of course. Heck, after the way you saved my life, I'd say yes to just about anything you asked.
Ma'am? That sounds nice.
Really? Well, that sounds nice.
We gotta
I might
jazz
just
her
call you
up.
back tomorrow then too.
You got my number.
Dang!
But what about tonight? Is there anything you want to talk about right now?
Remember why we called, Forrest.
Yeah, I
Of
know,
course.
Peggy.
Do you know why the Whistling Man might have targeted you?
Ha! As far as I could tell, he was just a knife-wielding psycho with superhuman cardio. He'd have chased after anybody.
Right. Well, we think he might be
We know that's
chasing
not the
specific
case.
people. People who know about the death of a boy named George.
Oh, I don't know anything about that. Sorry.
I mean, you
Sandra.
found the body.
We know you found George's body. We have the police report.
I don't know what you mean.
Don't be a liar.
Don't be a liar, Sandra. It doesn't suit you.
I'm not lying.
Oh, no.
Look at the time. It sure is
I
late.
fucked that up.
I have to go. I'll drive home now, or just drive. I'm sorry.
Well,
Well,
I might have gone a bit hard on her.
a bit?
All right. Let's just.
I don't want to hear
move on.
shit from Peggy
Well,
because
folks,
I
if
was
anyone out
going
there has
the
any
nice
thoughts
flirty route,
on
and she's
what's
like,
going
"Remember
on
why we're
tonight,
here?" And it's
please
like,
call in.
That's
fuck
good
off.
timing. We've got a call waiting just this second.
I know what I'm doing, Peggy. And because she got all mad at me, I pressed too hard.
The Scream with me, your host, Forrest Nash.
Hi, Forrest. I know
Oh, no.
this is really out of the blue with everything happening tonight.
A
But I
Dracula
wondered if you could send this special birthday
slash,
message to
that's a
my
Ponty.
uncle.
That's a Ponty right there. No.
I don't wanna.
Oh, come on! It's his birthday. I
That's
won't have a chance to
a
do it again
Dracula
until
Ponty.
next year.
May as well, Forrest.
But it's
Fine.
Ponty!
What's his name?
Thank you, Forrest. He's my Uncle Ronnie. His first name's Peter, but he never liked his name. But since he
Pepperoni.
always had salt and pepper
Pepperoni?
kid, can you believe it? Folks always called him Pepper.
Thanks for the history lesson. Is there anything besides happy birthday you would like to say to Mr. Pepper? Oh my God, damn it!
Yes! Tell him he can get the best birthday deals and party packages here at Pony's Pizza. Starting at
You son of a bitch! Stop calling us! Damn it, Peggy, this is your fault.
My fault?
Yeah.
I said I didn't want to do it.
Don't blame me because Brian Ponty can't control himself.
Ah.
Don't worry. We've already got another caller on the line.
Can
Just
we,
pick it up,
block
okay?
his number temporarily?
This is 189.16, The Scream.
I know everyone's getting
I'm
murdered
Forrest Nash.
tonight, but you
You're
want to
on the
buy
air,
some pizza?
caller.
Always.
Caller.
You good?
Ponty.
Ponty's Pizza always delivers. Come rain or sleet or whistling man, we'll be there.
Oh my God. Angry breathing noises.
Forrest? Are you okay?
No! We're not okay.
Forrest?
I hope the whistling man gets in with his own pizza slicer.
Jesus, Forrest?
Sorry, that was too much.
It was not
It's
too
okay.
much. Also,
It's
hi,
been
Fruity.
a high-stress night.
Ponty
Don't
has
worry
gone
about
mad
him
with
anymore,
pizza
okay?
power.
Not for tonight, anyway. I think he's spent for now.
Oh my
We've got another call.
goodness.
Whenever you're ready.
I swear to God, if it's Ponty's
Folks.
Pizza again.
Don't spend your money at Ponty's Pizza. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Moving along, I'd like to welcome another caller to 189.16.
Sorry, I'm curious. It's got 128.
The Scream with me,
That count?
Forrest
No.
Nash. Who may I say?
They
is
have to go
calling?
through the hoop,
Well, hello
even if they
again,
land in the.
Forrest.
Don.
This fucking lady.
Played your song, Long Ride Home. Did you hear it? Can you tell us?
Never mind that now. First, I'm calling because I need your help.
We had a
Don,
deal.
We had a deal. Kept my end. Who is the next target?
Oh, it's too late for that now.
I'll be the judge of that.
Oh, fine. Chuck Brody was the next target, but that ship sailed.
How did you know
I
it
mean,
was
but we
Chuck?
saved him.
Well, if I tell you, I might just put more people in danger.
People are already in danger. This might help.
Forrest, I don't have time. I need your help.
Do you mean
Yes, he's after me now.
you?
Okay.
I think so. He must have heard me on the radio helping you.
Right.
Okay. Tell us
Helping.
everything.
I was out following a lead, trying to work out who would be next. After Chuck.
And what happened?
It
I
is true.
started to
Dawn's
feel
song,
like I
song
was
sucked.
being followed. So I came back to my apartment building, but this newfangled security system has me locked out.
Oh!
I need you to help me get inside.
She's at the Silent Hill apartments.
Don't
Use
you
a
have
key?
a key to get in? Starling 4000. User manual. Ah, these codes should come in handy.
Only for the apartment door. The front gate requires an entry code. The future is electronic, I guess.
Order delivery form. Starling must have left this by accident.
Sorry.
The system's not even installed at Woodside.
I need that code to get inside.
Which apartment block do you live in? Maybe one of our listeners lives there too.
This is
It's the
killing me that
new
we've got the
Woodside
overlapping.
apartment building. Town hall and
neighbors.
Sounds like a prime piece of real estate.
Sound really carries at night. Shit.
Neighbor's dog?
Is that a neighbor's dog?
Yes, it is.
Is it Ricky's dog?
Boy, I wish he'd muzzle that thing and... Oh. And now he's blasting David Scopo out of his window. This night can't get any... The whistling man. He's coming down the street. I don't think he's seen me yet. Forrest, please. I need your help. I need the code for that security system, or I'm gonna die.
Security system's
What's
name?
the name of the security system?
There's a sticker on the box. It says...
I mean, the entry code is
Starling
715914.
Keypad, and it looks like it wants a 6-digit number.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. Okay. Starling, huh?
Starling Security 4000, huh?
That's right. Very newly installed. I need the key code before the whistling man gets me.
715914.
Thank you, Forrest. I knew I could count on you. I'll sit out of sight. Call me back soon.
I mean, I'm ready.
All right, folks. Here's a little tune for you all to enjoy while I try to break Dawn into her apartment. You were pretty quiet there, Peggy.
Oh yeah, we do
Forrest,
have...
was it just me, or was there something...
It wasn't just you. Something was
that one.
weird about that.
Yeah, well, tell you what, we have a Starling 4000, or whatever, here at KFAM. Clive bought one for the station. Maybe we can find something to help. Well, I'm not sure who, but to help someone.
What is she, does she have a thing for me?
Okay, so she's locked out of the Woodside Apartments, and somewhere Clive probably has the papers for the Starling 4000.
Yeah, I definitely don't trust Dawn. If she's not the killer, then, like, she's in cahoots with, right? What options do we have here? We have the maintenance call code. We have the alarm test, which will set off all security measures. We have the deactivation code and we have the entry code. When entering codes and commands, sequential key depressions must be made within 4 to 5 seconds of one another. 4 to 5 seconds elapse without a key depression, the key will be aborted and must be repeated from its beginning. Be sure to observe this precaution when performing any of the procedures in this manual. If you make a mistake while entering a security code, stop, press the asterisk, then start over. If you stop in the middle while entering a code and then immediately start the entry over, an erroneous code might be entered. I mean, we want to do the alarm test, right?
Welcome back, Forrest. Find anything?
The Starling 4000 security manual. It's got a bunch of codes.
Good. And did you find anything else?
I saw a list of everyone else who bought the Starling 4000. Know who was on there?
Oh my god. Roller Ricky! Do you think we should give him a call?
Yes.
Is that crazy? I don't know what you'd say, but...
Yeah.
That might be a good idea.
Okay, one moment. I got the number here. Patching
I'm gonna
you
bring
through.
that over, actually. Just so we can... Roller Ricky.
Shit.
he probably can't hear it over the music. Forrest, I don't know about this. This is super weird.
Just put me through to Dawn. I'll take care of this one way or another.
Okay, if you say so.
We're giving her the alarm, like the activation key.
Shut the music off.
Because
line 1, whenever you're
there's
ready.
a dog. He's playing David Scopo, which is what I'm pretty sure what he asked for. Or he asked for something funky. When is this funky? It's not really funky. Whatever. I'm pretty sure it's Ricky who's home, and she's trying to get in to do a murder. We're giving
Dawn,
her
there.
the
This is Forrest Nash from 189.6.
the alarm test.
The Scream.
Oh, thank
19,
God,
15,
you're back.
19.
I'm so afraid. What's the code to the gate?
Alarm test activation code. Alarm test activation code.
The code is 519.
I don't trust her.
Thank you, Forrest.
Also, that's super sketch as fuck. And the fact that she thinks that... Hold on.
Son of a bitch. Ah!
Is she?
Yeah, stay out! Nobody disrespects the sanctity of the ring! Don't ever come back here again! I'm calling the cops!
I mean, Ricky, you're
Thank
just gonna
God.
call us, but...
Hello? Is someone there?
Ricky, get back inside and turn on the radio. Whoever that was, she was trying to break into the ring.
She? Forrest, man, you got no idea. That was him! That was the whistling man! The alarm gave me just enough time to get my rifle. I don't like
Okay.
hurting folk, but I can't let anything happen to Maxie.
Nah,
He's my
Ricky,
best friend, you know?
fucking blast
Listen, man, I'm
whoever
heading back inside.
in order to
Gonna barricade
protect...
that window.
In order to protect
man,
Dog.
Thank you. You and Peggy can skate for free whenever you want, forever. That's a done deal.
I
can
Thanks,
jazzercise
Ricky.
anytime.
Can't wait.
You got it. Talk to you soon.
Okay.
I can
Music.
roller skate
Process. What
anytime.
just happened?
Dawn is a gender fluid icon. You know, if she weren't trying to use us, I'd be more down with her. Do love us some gender fluid. Sorry, I got distracted. Gender fluid representation.
So the whistling man is a woman?
We got played all records. I had my suspicions.
I had my suspicions.
Yeah, sure, Forrest. You just never mentioned it. She called up. You spoke to her multiple times.
I also want to go to the roller rink. I fucking loved skating. I knew she wasn't
I knew
right.
She wasn't right.
Is that right,
The
Sherlock?
woman.
Why do you think she requested that song?
She's a weirdo. Get me
To
outside?
Get me outside?
Maybe, but how? She didn't know the song was outside to start with.
That's right. She never actually attacked me out there.
So, what now?
I guess I should make an announcement. We do have new info.
Okay, kill the music and you can make the announcement. Okay, you're live in 3, 2...
Hey folks, this is Forrest Nash here. I hope you're all safely locked inside. For those of you listening to that last call, you might be wondering what to make of it all. Here's our take. We now believe the killer is actually a woman. One who might manipulate you into letting her in before she attacks you.
We're neighbors. Look out for
We're
each other and
neighbors.
stay safe.
Look out for each other and stay safe.
I don't want everyone
The
turning on
killer
everyone,
was
you know?
calling themselves Dawn.
This could be a
This
fake
could
name.
be a fake name. If
I
anyone
mean-
needs help or you have info on the killer,
Alright, I didn't bring the
please
Humpty
call
Dumpty
in.
stuff with me, did I?
You folks have my new number, right? It's 911. Hopefully, our next caller can help shed some light on our killer.
Hey, we had a call come in.
Okay, folks, time to take
Yeah,
a call.
look out for each other and stay safe, but not Dawn.
This is Forrest Nash, and you're listening.
Please help me. My name is Casey Moore. I'm at 25 Nancy Drive. My best friend's been stabbed. He's bleeding everywhere. I don't know what to do. Please help me.
Is he still
Is he
breathing?
still breathing?
Yeah, but he's bleeding out fast. I really need help.
Okay.
Please.
Let's
Take
stay
a breath.
calm.
We'd been out at the reservoir. We were heading back to his place when we heard this whistling all of a sudden. He just started freaking out. He screamed at me, told me to hide. I'd never seen him like that, and I just panicked and ran and hid in a bush.
Oh no. Forrest.
Then what happened?
He went up the road and talked to someone. I couldn't really hear or see anything. It sounded like he might have known the person. And
What's
they
your
just
friend's
stabbed
name?
him.
Is his name Clive?
Casey, was he talking to a woman?
I don't know. They had a mask and wore all black.
Okay,
That's
so
all
it's
I
the
know.
whistling man.
Please, we need help here.
I'll get you help, but I need to know. Where did the masked person go?
They left. They left him to bleed out. I waited
Oops.
till they were gone, then dragged him into the garage and called 911.
Wait, why didn't she make sure he was dead?
I don't know. I think I heard them say something like, "It's not so funny now, is it?" before they left, but please, he needs to get to the hospital.
Okay.
I can't drive, so
Well,
we need an ambulance.
Forrest,
the ambulance is
the ambulance
exploded.
was destroyed in the explosion at the gas station. You should
No,
get
I
all
know.
the info you can.
What's your friend's
What's your
name?
friend's name, Casey?
It's Jason Parker.
Can you tell us where Jason was stabbed?
They stabbed him in the stomach, and then stabbed him again in his leg when he was on the ground, and it's... Oh, the knife is still there in his leg.
Okay,
I'll be right back.
don't take it out.
Patch us through to the hospital.
On it. Phoning
Don't
St. Gabriel's
don't
now.
take the knife
Switch
out.
to line 2.
Hello, St. Gabriel's
Leave it
Hospital.
in.
How can I help you?
Hi, this is Forrest Nash from 189.16.
Forrest, now is not the
We have
time.
a stab victim at 25 Nancy Drive.
Yeah, our
named
town has
Jason
one fire
Parker.
truck and one
He's been
ambulance.
stabbed in the stomach and the leg. He's bleeding heavily.
Oh, God, I'm sorry. But the ambulance is... Well, you know.
I know, but please, we need something, or he's going to die.
Forrest, Listen, you're going to have to get him here. We need to see him, and we can't get there ourselves right now.
We don't have any way to drive him right now.
Did not
And even if we did,
mean to
he's
hit that
bleeding
button.
out fast.
All right, listen. We need to buy him time to get here. That means
Okay.
stopping the blood first, and then finding someone to stabilize him. To stabilize him, you really need someone with first aid training. Do either of you have any?
No.
Me neither.
Damn it. I'm really sorry about this,
Okay.
but I have other patients who can't wait. All I can do is talk you through the procedure as quick as I can, and then leave the rest to you.
Okay.
You can handle that?
Let me just we can
Yeah,
handle it.
I'm sure
Let
we
me
can
just get
handle
some paper
Okay,
to write some
from the
things
top.
down. I mean, I know
If he's bleeding out, then you need to get him comfortable and try to stem the bleeding. Lay him down.
comfy.
Apply continuous
Stem.
pressure directly to the affected areas.
Lay
When
down.
the bleeding slows, get a clean cloth of some kind and hold it
Pressure.
over the wounds.
Get
Clean
them
cloth.
comfortable. Apply pressure. Clean cloths when slowed. Got it. I think.
You said he was stabbed, right? If the object he was stabbed with is still in him, don't take it out.
Yeah, I already
It's
said
stopping
that.
the course of the bleeding right now. If anything, you should secure it so it stays where it is.
I wouldn't have thought of that. It makes sense, though. God. that
So
was
you
a
would have
lot
killed a
of
man,
info.
Peggy.
But I
is
think
what
we
I'm
can
hearing.
handle this.
Glad you got it so far because there's more to
Sorry.
go.
Okay. I do have first aid training in this kind of stuff. So it's not too weird. Like what I'm hearing so far. Keep
I'm
going.
still with you, Doc. What else do we need to know?
If he's lost a lot of blood, he may enter shock. If he does, act fast. If you applied a cloth and it's bleeding through, don't remove it. Just apply another on top of it. If it's
Yeah.
safe, elevate his legs to get blood circulating to his vital organs. Try to keep him warm. Get him to rest and reassure him. We need the patient to stay calm.
Leg,
All right.
get
Don't
warm.
replace bandages. Elevate his legs. Keep him warm and calm. This is a lot.
I'm really sorry.
It's not.
That's as
it's
much
fine.
as I can give you right now. Try to stop the bleeding.
Peggy's
Find
not the
someone to
woo-woo
get him
woman, but she
stabilized
could be if she
and
wanted.
get him
It's
here
true.
as quick as you can.
Good
luck.
All right, Forrest. Casey's still on line 1.
Okay, hold on. Yeah, this is all very basic
Hello?
first aid. All right.
Forrest, are you
I
there?
say basic. I hope nobody ever has to deal with someone being stabbed like this. How are you holding
Hi,
up?
Casey, I'm here. How are you doing?
I need help! I've been
Casey?
putting pressure on his stomach wound since you left,
Good.
but he's still bleeding. I don't know what to do.
That's good, Casey. The nurse said to do that.
What about the knife in his leg?
Leave
It's
it.
gotta be hell. Should
Nope.
I pull it out?
Don't touch the
No,
knife.
don't touch the knife. The bleeding
He'll be
will get worse if you
fine.
pull it
Step
out.
2, if anyone
Are
asks
you
anything,
sure?
say, don't worry about
I'm
it.
sorry.
Step 3, he'll be
I'm gonna stop making
fine.
suggestions.
No, don't worry, Casey. We're a team here. We're all going to get Jason through
Got this.
Casey, is his leg wound bleeding right now?
I hate looking at that knife. Yeah, it's bleeding. His
Okay. Secure the
I
knife.
think we need to secure the knife so it doesn't move around. Do you have anything you can tie around it?
Yeah. There's some laundry piled up on top of the dryer.
Take out the knife if you want him to fuck.
What else? I guess I got my jacket.
Use the clean. Use the clean
cleaning
rags.
and hold them over the wound.
I really hope these are clean. Here
Oh,
we go.
cleaning rags. I thought that said clean
I'm sorry,
rags.
Jason. It's secure. I'm putting pressure on his stomach again. Oh, I'm starting to think we might make it.
Forrest, can I have a word?
Now?
Now's not the best time, Peggy. Can it wait?
Forrest, it's kind of important.
All right. Give me a second. Casey, I'm going to have a quick word with Peggy. Keep
Why
putting
is
that
Peggy the
pressure on
worst?
and let us know when the bleeding is under control. You're doing great.
But what if something happens?
We'll still be here. Just shout if you need anything, and we'll be there. I promise.
Okay. I'll wait. Jason, please be okay.
Okay, what the fuck do you want, Peggy?
What's up, Peggy?
We can't stay on the line with her all night. Dawn is still out there. What if other people need us?
Okay, but this
You're
person
right.
needs us right now. Fuck off,
She's
Peggy.
probably on her way to her next target right now.
Exactly. And you heard the nurse. We need someone there with training who can stabilize him. He's got to get to the hospital somehow.
Any suggestions?
I might. A little before you started working here, KFAM did a mandatory first aid training course.
Which
Me and
apparently
Karen
you didn't
missed it
listen
because
to.
We were away on
Okay.
a producer getaway.
You skipped
gonna
it, didn't
say.
you? Never mind. So, how does
Oh my
KFAM's
God.
first aid course help us?
Casey said they're at 25 Nancy Drive, right?
Yeah? Why?
They put up a bunch of cheap houses around there about 10 years ago. So a bunch of people here at the station live around there.
Do you think any of them could help Casey and Jason?
Probably, but I don't know who lives there. And since I
Nancy?
missed the training day, I don't know who knows first aid.
Could you call them and ask?
I don't know everybody's numbers.
Why
I've only
is
ever
she
called
so
Karen.
useless?
Everybody's personnel info is probably in Reggie's office.
Do you
Got it.
have his
I'll look
key?
through their files in Reggie's office. It's a life or death situation. I'm sure they won't mind.
Yeah, I
Right.
also don't trust
But there
Peggy.
are a couple of problems with that.
Naturally.
It's sensitive information, so Reggie probably locked it in his safe.
Great. Great. Do you have any idea what the combo for the safe could be?
Not a clue. Reggie's a serial note taker, though. Maybe something in his office will give it away.
Okay.
Right. There is something else.
I'm not gonna like this.
Right?
Have
There
you
is
ever
the
heard
constant
The future is floppy?
Peggy, what the hell are you talking about?
floppy disks.
I'm talking about floppy disks. Floppy disks are like these futuristic things that have
Peggy.
information on them.
Peggy, I know what a floppy
you
disk
put them
is.
in a computer and they do
Peggy, I
something.
used to play games
Peggy?
via
I know
floppy
what a floppy
disk.
is.
Anyway, Reggie decided that the future is floppy and started phasing out our physical records and replacing them with these floppy disks. I imagine it's the same for our personnel files.
That's good to know.
Yeah, like you said,
Since we
like
haven't
Peggy
heard
is
anything from
conveniently
Casey, I'm
doing
guessing
things
Jason's
to
okay for now.
inconvenience
I'll check out
inconvenience
Reggie's
us.
office
It's
and
just
see
like
what I can find.
No need
Peggy.
key for that. I'll just slide it under my door now.
Thanks,
We've
Peggy.
wasted more
I
time
just have to look
with
around.
her whining about us not being able to help this person than it would have taken to just
I'll patch my mic
help
down
this
to the
person.
office, so you'll hear me over the intercom.
like. Come on. I just got the master of unlocking for unlocking every door. Except I
It's not
haven't
open.
just yet. I've gotten the keys. It's fine. Blasting through these achievements though. And I know some of it's like gameplay. It's like, oh, we gotta have you do stuff. You gotta be like, you have to. I need my mousetrap. You gotta get up and do stuff, and I don't mind that. It's fun, but it's just like she's just been super sketchy, you know? Peggy's just kind of sketchy. Notice how she always slides things under the door and doesn't even open it? She's hiding something. I mean, she says it's because she wants to be safe. And you know, there's a killer out there, but yeah, it's that struck me as weird from the beginning, where it's like, okay, like clearly I am not the murderer. Because I have been here all night. So why Reginald Scott? Good job, Reggie.
Looks
okay, what
like
is this?
I need a 4-digit code.
Very important date. Is it 13-8? I wanna believe. Also, thank you. Clive, if you're reading this, stop stealing my post-it notes. Alien sightings. Okay, we got a dweeb over here. Chalupacabra. $25. But you know what? For 2 sodas, some nachos, 2 chalupas, some churros, and then some salsa and tomato salsa. It's not horrible. Axe Forever. Need to write pitch document. Good title. Bring back original protag and villain. Please insert a floppy disk. I do not have one. Please let me back out. It is true. Reginald Tetra is cooler. Okay, so we want to try 1308. Oh, 813. Very important date. Reggie Jr.'s birthday is 9/10, not 10/9. 09/10. Boop, boop, boo-doo-doo-doo. 09/10. Okay. And then 10. Oh my god. Okay, so that's not it. That's not it. 1810? For a UFO sighting? Fucking hell. 1018? I no longer believe that this is a place in Iowa because they're doing a European formatting for dates. From below it came. 0829? No. I do also really like the noises. Can I look at this? No dates there. Ask Jeannie where those tapes are. It's been weeks now. Overdue! Okay. For a boy that is a serial note taker, well, there's a floppy. There we go. Just trying to figure out where they wanted me to, like, put it.
Could this be it?
Deep cuts! Top secret! Pizza delivery killer who kills with a pizza cutter. Free slice on me. Terrifyingly, there is never any pizza. What happened to the original delivery guy? Maybe write him in as a final girl's, or as final girl's boyfriend. Protagonist is college student Megan, surname to follow. She's smart, beautiful, resourceful, and lactose intolerant. Amplifies the divide between her and the pizza killer. Takes place on 11/07. Well, I do want to finish reading that. Very important date for the town. Great Goose Gathering. Event where a large number of geese appear suddenly and save the town from starvation. Try to link this into the greater story. Need to kill off Megan's support network throughout the movie, like Acts 3, but even scarier. Maybe partner with Ponte's Pizza for the launch. 1/10 orders. Orders just receive a 1 out of 10 orders just receive a pizza cutter and tickets to the movie. Okay. What was that? 1107?
Nice.
Beautiful. This is too many floppy disks. This is for John. Oopsies. Genuinely, did not mean to throw it back there. Oops. Hello? John Hedges is a newsreader. He was born on July 19th. He lives on Nancy Drive. John refused to engage with the first aid trainer during the course. I know he was a war medic, but it was station policy to send everyone regardless. John apparently has a bunch of medical equipment in his house that he procured from the military at the end of his service. Is that legal? Do I need to report him? Spoke to John again about eating the free samples that Brad gets sent for his reviews. He said he'd stop, but he said that the last 3 times too. Is it un-American to reprimand a war vet? Yeah, did not like that thumping. John might be a good option. I'll put a question mark next to him. I trust military medic. Like, legitimately. They're wild? At least the military medics that I've met. They all just go back there now, by the way.
Get a load of this, Peggy. Apparently, I'm a lone wolf type.
Forrest, what are you doing? We don't have time for this. We have a man literally dying on the line, and you're more interested in you.
You're right, I'm sorry. I need to focus on possible candidates. I can read the rest of this later.
Can't believe we actually got the Forrest Nash here in Gallows Creek. His motivation may be low, his demands are a bit beyond our means, and he's currently blacklisted from any reputable station, but honestly, we don't have a reputation to lose. Forrest isn't really integrating with the team, seems to have this lone wolf thing going on. Heard him call Jeannie, Janine, and Brenda in his first week. Hopefully this changes when he gets settled. Paired Forrest with Peggy for his show. They seem to have developed a relationship of sorts pretty quickly, which is good, because we sure don't have the budget to pair him with Karen. I'm sorry, I'm very much enjoying throwing all those back there. I also keep stepping on the chair, I think? Karen has really stepped up her duties in recent months. She has fully taken on Hamish's show alongside the Timberline twins ever since Wes left. Oh my god, sorry. I'm like having a hell of a time reading right now. Hopefully she doesn't get any ideas about being paid double. Karen has started mentoring Peggy. I think this will be really good for Peggy. They're even doing team-building training getaways to improve efficiency. Starting to suspect that these producer training getaways are being strategically timed. They've now both missed Secret Santa, first aid training, and the Teddy Gallows Jr. station visit. Well, consider. Peggy!
Hey, Peggy. I think Reggie's on to you and Karen. Maybe don't bring those little drink umbrellas into work for a while.
What? Why are you reading my file? You need to find someone who can help Casey.
Listen.
We already know I can. Don't waste time.
You're right. I'm sorry.
The other thing about John is he did live on Nancy Drive.
I really shouldn't have read both. We're in a hurry.
Never seen somebody gel with everybody as quickly as Peggy has. Her, Karen, and Barbara have really become a little family already. Maybe we need to run this station on girl power. Hopefully it's cheaper than electric. Wow. Okay. Sometimes I wonder if Peggy secretly wants her own show. She hasn't been shy about getting involved in the calls on the Scream. Sometimes it feels as though Forrest could just leave for a coffee mid-call and nobody would know. Peggy and Karen have missed another work event, this time first aid training, because of their training sessions. Their collection of cocktail parasols grows after each session. Why are they doing training sessions at a bar? This is Bradley. Oopsies. When I heard Brad is our station's food critic, people said I was crazy. We only have 3 takeout places and a diner. What's the point? To them I say, can't be afraid to explore the darkest reaches of the unknown. Or Henderson. Bradley and Barbara seem to be spending an awful lot of time together. I didn't realize she was so interested in Brad's work. Maybe I should join one of their after-work meetings sometime. Always wanted to learn more about food. Brad and Barbara ended up missing most of our first aid training session. Brad made a joke about practicing mouth-to-mouth, and Barbara got really upset and stormed off. The joke wasn't that bad. Wow, what a sexist pig. This last one is gonna be Barbara, isn't it? Yep. Okay, so John is our choice. First one I picked up. That's our boy. Yeah, don't waste time. Don't waste time. You might find incriminating evidence on me. I was hoping that there would be something in there about her, but it's fine. Barbara's really getting on well with all the staff here. Everybody gave her great feedback on her last review. I get the feeling there's something going on with her and Brad. Call it a hunch. Barbara got another cat recently. She must have had at least 5 now. Daisy, Murphy, Penelope, Freddy, and Lord Winston. Need to monitor productivity going forward. The cat photos are a big distraction for the rest of the team. Barbara laughed when I told her about the concept for a new horror script. I don't care what she thinks. A story about an alien egg at the center of the Earth set to hatch on February 30th is a great idea. Why else why would we avoid having a February 30th? Reggie's a fucking idiot. Okay, John is our choice. Not down there. No, you fool. Oh. Yeah, John's our boy. Let's just close that real fast. Sorry, I'm like holding onto my mouse real funny. So I'm holding a pencil and I don't need to, but I like how it feels when I hold a pencil and use my mouse, even though it hinders how I use a mouse. Listen. Hey. Peggy? I did. I worked out the safe combination. Did I miss something? Not dead Peggy. But it's John. But we want John. And I can't... That's Barbara. That's Bradley. Forrest. Who's this? Bradley is such a name. What are the names ever?
This be it.
Yeah, it was. We opened it. Did I break it? Did I break the game? That's Peggy. That's John. And he's at 14 Nancy Drive. 542-0735. Hey,
Peggy, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Did you find what we need?
Sorry, it got like dark out there. I think I know who to call.
I know who our best bet is to help Casey and Jason.
All right, good work. Who should I...
That Newton's Cradle's all.
Is anybody there? Please pick up.
Casey, I'm here. What's wrong?
Jason started going pale.
Oh, he's going into shock.
I tried to get him to rest, but he just threw up everywhere. What's happening? What do I do?
He's going into shock.
Sounds like he's going
Love
into
that you
shock.
need to talk to her
Casey,
downstairs
just
instead of
stay
in
calm.
person.
It's going to be
Right?
okay.
But the bleeding seemed to slow down. Did I mess up?
No, nope, you didn't mess
Jason, I'm
up.
Sorry.
Casey, calm down. You've done everything right. I need you to listen to me, okay? For Jason.
What did
We
the
have
nurse
to-
say to do about shock?
Elevate Jason's legs.
Casey, I need you to elevate Jason's legs. We need to get the blood flowing to his vital organs.
Got it. Jason, stay with me. I'm just gonna move you. This might hurt.
I mean, I guess it's because this section needed to happen
Okay.
here, helping
I brought this
Casey,
leg
you know.
up on some
But
boxes.
I'm looking at my notes. We need to get Jason as warm and comfortable as possible.
yeah,
Do you have anything you could use nearby, Casey?
Yeah. I still have some laundry next to me. I'll wrap him in some blankets. Just give me a second.
okay.
Sorry. Jason's bleeding through his bandages. Should I get him new ones?
Just
Or-
cover up the old ones.
Oh, God.
Apply an additional
Don't remove
bandage.
the bandage. Apply another one on top of it. Do you still have something you can use?
I've used the rest of the laundry to keep him warm, so I'll use my jacket. I can always get a new one. I'll fix his bandage and get him
Oh, to
warm.
be wounded but wrapped in
Hold on,
fresh
please.
laundered blankets. Sounds like a joy.
Sorry. I'm done.
Do you love me some like freshly
You'll be
laundered
okay, Jason.
bedding?
Just relax now, okay? Oh, he's scared. He's not doing well. Is he gonna...
Be strong for Jason.
Casey, I need you to be strong for Jason. Sit with him and reassure him that everything's gonna be okay. Okay?
Okay. But please, I can't give him what he needs. Please, help.
We're working on it,
Can't lose
Casey.
him.
We're doing
All right,
what we
Forrest,
can.
we need to hurry. Jason doesn't sound like he's doing too well.
Yeah, I
You
know.
said you knew who to call earlier?
Yeah, it's
Who was it?
John. Call John.
We need to call John Hedges. He lives on Nancy Drive. He didn't really participate in the first aid training, but he's a former war medic. He's probably the most trained person we have.
Really? I never really spoke to him before. A war medic, huh?
Yeah, and according to Reggie's notes, John keeps all of his old equipment at his house. He's something of a hoarder.
All right. What's his number?
5420735.
Calling now. Let's hope he picks.
Who the hell is this calling me at? What time is it?
John, it's Forrest Nash here at KFAM. We have an emergency and
He's something
we
of
need
a
your help.
quarter, maybe even a dime.
Forrest, if this is a work emergency, then it can wait until the goddamn morning. Just leave me a note like everybody else.
This is a medical
John,
emergency.
no, this is a medical emergency. A man has been stabbed by the Whistling Man, or never mind. He's badly hurt and he's going to die unless we get someone to him now.
The Whistling Man? What kind of joke is this?
John, we're not kidding. A man is gonna die if we don't help him right now.
Seriously, I haven't been called on for over 10 years. Where's the patient? What's his condition?
He's at 25 Nancy Drive. I think we got his friend to stem the bleeding, but he's gone into shock. He's passed out right now.
You say he was stabbed? Do you know the extent of his injuries?
From what we were told,
Love
he
how
has
John's
2
voice
major
sounds like
stab
someone
wounds.
using a voice filter.
One to the stomach and
It's
one to the leg. The knife
Hard
is
to
still
tell
in
if
his
it's
leg,
like,
and the
you
stomach
know,
wound is open.
changing the pitch of his voice, or if they've just like put a filter over it to make it more grainy, but it is very
Thank you,
like,
John.
hello,
Let 'em know you're on your
my
way.
name is John.
Hello, Casey. Are you there? How are we doing?
Bad. Jason seemed really weak and then just started thrashing.
How is
What
he
about
now?
Is he still thrashing?
He's passed out. Please tell me you found someone to help.
Casey, help is on the way. My colleague will be there soon.
You hear that, Jason? Someone is coming. You're gonna be just fine.
My name is
Just
Mr.
hold on to me,
Manly
okay?
Madison. I am a strong military
Come
man.
on.
Hoorah!
John Hedges. I'm here about Jason.
That's my manly man voice, in case you were wondering.
I'm guessing that's Jason there. Casey, I'm gonna need your help. Forrest, Peggy, don't you two worry.
He did live, like, just down the block, to be fair.
We'll call you
They
back
were at
later.
25 and he lives at 14? Yeah.
God, I hope he's gonna be all right.
And with that, the show moves on. We're sending our best wishes to Jason.
Hey.
Well, after all that excitement, I think we could use some music.
Come back upstairs when you're ready.
Coming. Not down there. Thanks for coming to your jammies, John. We salute you. Thanks, buddy. Real dedicated. But also, like, genuinely, like, thank you, John. Oh, thought I'd gone through the door. And I had not. Alright. It's music time. Peggy, why can't you play a song?
It's getting pretty late. This might be your last break for the night, so try to enjoy it. Give me a buzz when you want to go back on air.
Is that you telling me this is like the point of no return? Right. Hi, Peggy. You ignored us because we weren't downstairs.
Let's roll.
So thanks for that.
We've got another call coming through too.
Okay.
When you're ready, shut the music off.
Shut the
Welcome
fuck up,
back to
Peggy.
189.16, The Scream.
It's not that bad. I just get annoyed.
We have another caller on the line.
Still
How
convinced
are
she's
you
like
tonight,
in cahoots
caller?
with the woo-woo man.
Forrest, it's me, brother Ricky. Oh, and Maxie.
Ian
too.
Maxie!
Good to hear from you again.
Good to hear
How
from
are
ya.
you both doing?
Oh, we're good, man. Thanks to you. You're like our guardian angel.
That wouldn't be a bad look for you, Forrest. A little White Wing Halo number? Maybe something for the K-Fam Halloween party.
All right, everyone, let's calm down. Ricky, I'm just glad we could help you and Maxie.
Is there anything else we can help you with, Ricky?
Actually, I think I have some info that might help you.
Oh? Really?
Oh? What's that?
You see, man, me and Jason know each other.
You know each other?
Yeah, we went to Gallows High and played on the football team together. He was a gnarly offensive linesman, and I was our star wide receiver. Runner Ricky, they called me.
All right, and what does that have to do with tonight?
Well, because George, the guy who drowned, he was on our team too.
Sorry, stretches. Okay,
Tell me
about him.
What was George like?
I didn't know him for long, man. Sad to say. We had our first team party on the night he drowned. He seemed like such a good dude.
Ricky, were you there when George drowned?
No, man. Once the party turned, I beat feet out of there. Man, I remember George and his girl there. There was a whole lot
Is
of
that
love,
Dawn?
man.
His girlfriend?
You know?
Tell me about her.
Ricky, listen, this is very important. I need to know everything about
It's whatever
her.
the name was on that Humpty Dumpty thing.
Know her before, or see her after that.
He left right as
I
they
never
started
even
the
got her
monster
name,
mash.
man. I just
Well-
remember he called her Bean.
Then what did she look like? Please, tell us
Bean?
anything you remember.
I just remember a pretty girl,
I can't say
man.
nothing. That was my aunt's
Sorry.
nickname for me.
Ricky, you said the party didn't last long. What happened?
It's a weird name for your, like, girlfriend, though.
Just having a good time, and then the next thing I knew, everyone was running for their life. I looked up and saw a goddamn whistling man in the trees. And
I just remember
I
a girl
never
being
ran so
pretty,
fast in my
but
life.
none of the qualities
I
that
ran
made her
straight
pretty.
home. Didn't know about George until next morning at school.
I'm guessing it was whistling night, wasn't it? That the whistling man was just another kid.
Yeah. I don't know how George died, but I always felt like if anyone deserved to die that night, it should have been me.
Ricky!
Ricky,
Wasn't your fault, man.
it wasn't your
Also,
fault.
thank you for persevering,
not
Arcade.
a
I
bad
appreciate
person.
it.
I know that now, man.
Ricky
Took
was
a
just
lot of
saying
time
that,
to
like,
learn, but
the whistling man showed up, and then
Yeah.
George
just thought I'd
was
tell you all
murdered,
when
and
I
everyone was running for their
Thank you,
life.
Ricky.
This helps. Thank you.
You got it, man. Anyway, I think it's time for me and Maxie to free up your phone lines.
Aww.
Thanks for listening, man. I'll let you to it.
Night, Ricky.
I love Ricky, and I love Maxie.
All right, folks. Looks like we got a new lead in the case. If anyone has any info about this mysterious
bean.
If she was George's girlfriend back then, she's probably in her mid to late 30s now. Huh. Oh, we have another call coming in. But
Peggy.
hang on.
What's up, Peggy?
Are you gonna answer me?
You're gonna want to take this call off the air.
Who is it?
Just do it.
All right, folks, it's time for another track. Here's one to help you sit back and relax.
What was that noise?
We'll be right back after this. I hope this is good news, Peggy. Who have we got?
Find out for yourself on line 1.
Hello?
Forrest, I'm glad I got back through to you.
Leslie!
Sounds like it's been a busy night, huh?
Surprise! It's Leslie, our 911 operator.
I don't appreciate the fact that Peggy wouldn't just tell me that.
It's so good to hear from you. Are you okay?
We're doing okay. Sarah and I are both happy to be headed back home.
Did you say
We're
Sarah?
happy to have you too.
Sarah and I.
Sarah?
Oh, yeah, I mean Deputy Martinez. Anyway, we got back into radio range a little while ago. We've been listening in, but haven't been able to get through until now.
Sarah.
Ever since you found Sheriff Matthews, it's
I'm
only
not. I don't
gotten
mean to
worse.
like make fun of the name. It was just
been
I
a
was
long
surprised
Well,
by the
it shouldn't be
pronunciation
too
was
much
all.
longer now. I'm glad I got through to you. I wanted
Peggy
to
be
let
like,
you all know what's going
yes,
on.
even though there's a killer on the
I
loose and
made it to
people are dying.
Henderson.
Right
Turns out
though?
somebody had cut the phone lines, and they had no idea what was
My
happening.
goodness.
After I told them, well, their sheriff sent a goddamn squad back with me to stop this.
Okay.
That's great news. That's
Sorry, I'm
crazy
so
about
sniffly.
the phone lines, though. Do you think the whistling man cut them?
Yes, of
Guessing
course.
so. I don't know how.
Why is that a question?
How the whistling man did it, but that doesn't matter right now. Listen, we're coming in hot.
Yeah, it doesn't fucking matter.
I know Gallows Creek isn't a big town, but if we don't know where the whistling man is, we can't get him. Her.
Okay.
That's where you come in.
What do you need?
You can count on us. What do you need?
It might be a long shot, but here goes. The whistling man already called up a few times. I bet she calls again. We're still a little ways out of town, so if she calls, stall her.
We are
Buy as much time
off
as
the
you
air,
can for us to
right?
get in. And while you're talking to her, try to figure out where she is. We'll be listening in, so once her location is known, we'll head straight there and end this nightmare.
Watch the next call be her, right?
I'll do my best.
I know you will. Heck, I can see the headlines now. Forrest Nash's interview of a lifetime. Anyway, I'll radio the other cars and tell them the plan is a go. Hopefully the next time
She'll
I
be like,
see
"Tee-hee, I'm
it'll
gonna
be
kill
with
you
our
guys,
killer
roar."
behind bars. Take care now.
Yeah, I'm like,
We'll
I'm
see you
fully
soon,
expecting her
Leslie.
to like.
Thank God. It
I
sounds
mean,
like
she's
this
gonna
is
be
almost
here,
over.
right? We're
We're
gonna have
nearly
a
through
the
this.
call is coming from inside the house moment, right?
It's nice to think, Peggy, but I don't reckon Dawn is gonna give up without a fight.
She probably
That's
won't
gonna
give up without a
happen,
fight,
right?
but neither will we. Now, let's get you back into the arena, champ.
The call
Okay,
is coming
Forrest,
from
shut the music
inside
off.
the radio.
Bringing you back live now.
Welcome back to The Scream with me, Forrest Nash.
I only just
line
noticed
is
that
lit
that lights
but
up.
Before I get to our next caller, I just want to say, things are looking up. It's almost over. But for now, let's bring in our next caller.
I need to stop.
Evening, caller. This is Forrest
Stop
Nash.
throwing those.
Hello, Forrest. This is John.
John!
Bridges. I'm here with Casey. I wanted to give you an update on Jason.
Yeah, how's Jason doing?
Is he gonna be okay?
He's a fighter. He'll be fine.
Good.
Got him stabilized and resting in a bed. We're preparing to move him to the hospital.
Thank you so much. If you hadn't been there, then... God, I don't even want to think about what would have happened.
Of course, Casey. We're just happy he's okay.
John, Casey, You two did all the work. Tell Jason to get well soon from us, whenever he's up for it.
Well, why don't you tell him yourself?
Is this Forrest?
That's the same voice actor as John. The one and only.
The one and only. I hope you're feeling better.
It's good to hear you, Jason. How are you?
Oh, well, you know. I've got a hole in my stomach, and
Instead
there's
of doing
a knife
his...
in my leg, but John gave me something to take the edge off. So, I might feel even better than either of you.
That's just a name. Johnson is just a name.
Take it easy until you get to St. Gabriel's.
I will. But, before that, I needed to call you.
Yeah?
I'm guessing the Whistling Man is still out there?
Yeah?
Yep. As far as we know, anyway.
I was worried you'd say that. God damn it.
Actually, I'm glad you called. I wanted to talk to you about what happened earlier.
Go for it.
We spoke to Roller Ricky not long after you were attacked.
Roller Ricky. Roller Ricky. Roller Ricky.
Is he all right?
Roller
He
Ricky.
is now. I mean,
Sorry.
he was attacked earlier, but this call came after.
Hey, guys, I'm really sorry, but there's a call on the other line. I just need to make sure we don't have another situation brewing. You fill Jason in on what happened. I'll be right back.
Sure, Peggy. Sorry, Jason, where was I?
Weird that she's doing that now and
Ricky's
wasn't
fine.
doing that
You don't need to worry
earlier.
about him.
That's a relief.
She's talking
He
to
told us
Dawn.
about
She's
George.
100% talking to John.
Sounds like
Dawn,
everything's
not
finally
John.
coming out now.
John!
It's been tough to hold it all in.
Sounds like you've been
The
holding back
woo-woo
about something
woman.
awful, Jason.
The woo-woo
I'm part of the
woman.
reason my best friend is dead, Forrest.
John
Who
Johnson.
knew about it
Don
said if I ever
Johnson.
said anything,
Son
I'd
John
find
Don.
myself in jail.
I don't know
long
what's
time.
happening right now.
It was hell. And then the town just moved on. Like he'd never existed.
What happened?
What happened that night?
I went along with the stupid prank, that's what. Whistling night. Some of the guys on the football team had an idea for a way we could haze the newcomers.
What happened?
We decided to plan a party in the woods and have the
Honest-
Whistling Man crash it.
Okay.
It was stupid.
I know you're like, you're
Each
joking.
had a
Being like,
role.
prank haha drowns you.
I was the
But it's like, that's genuinely
Snap
what a
friend.
lot of those like hazing rituals like feel
party
like.
that night,
Are just
I
like,
left the group for
I mean,
the
they
second.
are. They're just mean spirited, and they're not
Whistling
necessarily like taking into regard like
Intended to get
anyone's
stabbed in front of everyone.
safety, mental or
Started an
physical,
almighty
and it's
panic
gross, and
of
I hate
screams.
it.
That was the last time I saw or heard George alive.
How did George die, Jason?
Oftentimes, just crimes. It's just a
I was
crime. They're just
laying
doing a
dead.
crime, and it's
But
not
then I heard
funny.
her scream.
Ricky mentioned a girl named Bean. Is that who you mean?
Bean.
That rhymes. And so does
Yes,
that.
George did call her that.
Oftentimes,
He called
just
her
crimes.
Bean.
That rhymes.
I heard her again tonight, Forrest. Her name was...
What? What
Fuck
happened?
off.
Are we still on air?
No, we're not. Seems like the power is completely gone.
How do we get it back on?
We kill the woo-woo man?
We can use the emergency generator down in the basement.
I don't want to go in the basement.
A while ago, in case we ever needed to do an emergency broadcast.
An emergency broadcast?
Emergency? You know, nuclear war, alien attack.
He would be worried about an alien attack.
Killer's location to the top, so we can end this nightmare.
Fair point.
It's in the storage area, in the far back corner, up on the wall. You might have spotted it earlier when you were digging around for all those.
Yeah, no, I know what it
There's
is.
a big red button. Just press that. I'll see you when you're back.
Fucking keeping my eyes on you. They planned this. Peggy and the woo-woo. Yeah, we're gonna get whistled. We're gonna get whistled so fucking hard. Hope you're ready to get your world whistled. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Not happy about this. necessarily, like, scared, right? But it's tense. I don't know what's gonna happen. Her name was Maisie Cartwright. She's the killer.
Huh. Far back corner. Why is this station so big?
I don't know, but I hate it.
That must be it. Oh, we've got power.
We've restored the power.
The whistling man. I need to warn Peggy.
No, we need to be worried about ourselves. So glad the forest is in there, and we're out here, and the whistling man is hopefully not in here. Got some bad news for you. This station does seem to be the biggest building in Gallows Creek. Hello? I mean, no one's here. Shh. There's no one here. I'm definitely not wiggling around. You've done us well. We gotta go stop Maisie. Maisie! Peggy, you and or I are gonna get woo-wooed.
What the hell?
Fuck. Hi! Hi, Maisie! Peggy? Peggy, we're gonna get woo-wooed! I hope you're ready to get woo-wooed! Well...
Oh no. Peggy, where'd you go?
Shut the fuck up! I don't know what that noise was! I'm so sorry!
No way. This can't be happening.
Oh, she just straight up walked over that. Can you hear me?
A call.
Sorry. What do you want?
What do you want?
Good to talk to you again, Forrest. You know, I've really enjoyed our chats tonight.
I guess we've had
You're
some
gonna
moments.
say so many bad words and I don't have my
favorite
soundboard.
was when Ricky ran you out of the rink.
Ha! You sure did get me then, Forrest.
Where's Peggy?
Have
We
some
don't care about
patience,
Peggy.
Forrest.
We don't
It's
care
almost
about
the end of
Peggy.
the night, almost the end of the show. But it's not over just yet.
The call is coming from inside the radio station.
So let's make the most of it.
I'd rather not.
Or not, if that's okay.
Oh, Forrest.
Huh?
I thought we'd end tonight's Whistling Man special with a special guest. The one who started it all. Oh, let me take that out of your mouth and...
You crazy bitch! Let me go!
Welcome to the air, Mr. Teddy Gallows Jr.
Okay,
Wait.
so this is Peggy.
Come out tonight, Teddy. Your dad
Maisie
had
is
his
with
money
Teddy.
saved 20 years ago. But even if he crawled out of his coffin with all the money in the world...
Wait. Where the hell is Teddy? How are you talking to him if you're here with me?
Yeah, we
Because I'm not there with you, Forrest. I'm here with Teddy.
I mean, we figured as much, right?
Well, he knows he'll get it.
Then
Wait.
who's here?
Who am
Who
I?
are these guys? Sorry, I watched
Smash,
World's
let's
End,
introduce
the
you all
AEW
to
wrestling wrestling
My boy,
event with
Henry Darrow.
Sam the other day. Hi Henry.
Hi, Henry. Nice to meet you.
But it's yeah, no,
Don't
it's
mind
fine.
him. He's just shy.
I don't think it's Henry.
There were two whistling men tonight. Of course. That explains how you were always able to get around town.
I mean, possibly, but also...
That's how you escaped the secret
But also,
archives
it's
in the
Peggy.
newspaper office.
Don't think I've forgotten about that, Forrest. Locking my sweet boy away like an animal.
Well, I mean, he kind of was acting like one.
Barrow? Then... Are you...
Let me just get this mask off.
Maisie.
No wonder Mooney went crazy wearing this.
Alright, Force is like, oh, I get it, we're Scream, and we have 2 killers. It's like Ghostface.
Marie Campbell?
I thought it was Maisie.
George's old girl. Oh. Well, it sure has been years since I last
I thought the Humpty Dumpty
saw...
thing said Maisie. Am I an idiot?
God damn it.
Quiet, Teddy.
Fine if I were you, Teddy.
But
I'd listen to Forrest. Everyone's gonna know.
Maybe I
now
just read it
what
wrong.
Teddy did. He killed George that night. This night.
Maybe the handwriting was just really shit. You could be right.
You... Ah!
It's bad typeface.
You, and not a moment before. Meanwhile, Forrest, I'm gonna give you the chance to talk.
Uh-huh.
You're gonna help me reveal what really happened to George all those years ago.
I mean, we know what happened. Just, sure. I mean, I think it's important that people know that...
Good.
Yeah, like, Arcade for real. It's like, girl, I was trying to. Come on.
Murdered? Listen,
It was a hazing thing gone right, I guess. I don't feel bad for Teddy.
I said you speak when you're spoken to.
Excuse me.
Now, I know you've done some good work tonight, piecing together what happened to George 20 years ago, and that's why I want you to interview us.
Are you serious?
Serious? You want me to interview you?
Am I serious? After everything tonight, you really have to ask me if I'm serious.
Yes.
Do a good job. And hell, you might be the only one to leave here alive.
Okay.
I need to drag this out. If I can buy Leslie time to get back together.
Yeah, I know, Forrest.
And if I can find out where Marie is, then this can end. Teddy, we'll start with you. Just, talk me through what happened that night. How did it start?
How would I know? It was 20 years ago.
I mean, I personally would remember,
Teddy,
if I did a
honest
murder
with
on
me,
someone.
or we're both going to die.
Honest?
If there was some manslaughter that
I'm
happened.
trapped
I think
here
manslaughter
with
is the one that's
psycho.
not, that was accidental.
What the hell? God damn it. Okay.
Listen, I studied
Our
to
first
do the
tea party
autopsy,
was
not
coming up,
determine
and when I saw the
if someone
date
was
we were
guilty.
scheduled for, I had an idea for a way we could prank
me.
the new guys.
The night Mooney vanished? Tell me why that night.
What made that night special?
We're dragging it
That
out is
was
the reason.
night Mooney went missing.
We're gonna make him
Couldn't
talk
pass
for
it
as
up.
long as possible.
I was just surprised. No one had ever thought to do it before.
Wait. You mean this was the first whistling night?
Keep talking, Teddy.
We went up near Whistling Point.
This is a cool killer outfit, though,
was
I
there?
will say.
Me, Jason,
He is literally just trying to do,
George?
it's just a prank, bro, at us.
George didn't
What's
come
the-
alone.
What's that line from Until Dawn?
Brought
It's just a
Marie.
prank,
And
Han.
Roller Ricky. He was there too, wasn't he?
Yes, Ricky was there too. Runner
I
Ricky.
should play Until Dawn again
Oh,
sometime
my
soon.
I helped him off the bottle, you know, because I'm a decent man.
Yeah, okay, Teddy,
that
whatever
so?
the fuck you say.
Yes, it is. He came apart one day. Some people do. He
It's
had
just a
some
prank,
issues.
Marie.
Wasn't stable. I didn't want him to hurt his chances in life, so I helped him keep himself together.
You
Should
were
see if
afraid
Emmy
he
wants
would
to do
talk
Until
about that
Dawn with
night,
me.
weren't you?
Keep talking.
About midway through the night, we put the prank into action.
We looked up at the trees and saw Jason there. Bloody, like he'd just been stabbed. And the whistling man,
on it too. I know he was. He and Teddy were as close as anybody. Teddy must have told him the plan.
Ricky didn't know.
Marie, you're wrong. Ricky didn't know.
What?
Did you miss that part of the broadcast? I spoke to him earlier. He had no idea what was happening. He said he was as terrified as anybody. Isn't that right, Teddy? You didn't tell him, did you?
Ricky never could keep his mouth shut. If we told him...
I just want to set the record straight about Ricky, that's all.
Well... It doesn't matter.
I mean, it kind of matters.
To tell anybody about it afterwards. He's still guilty.
It was just a stupid prank.
Just a prank, Han.
How can you still say it was just a prank?
Oh, come on. Oh, God damn it.
That was
Jason
squishy.
had been murdered. He thought his best friend was dead.
And so tonight you stabbed him for real?
It's the role he wanted to play.
Jason's still alive, Marie. He was with a friend. We talked her through how to stop the bleeding, and got him professional help just in time.
Oh. Well, shame he didn't have the good sense to die earlier. He's gonna regret that. Enough about him. Me and George took off running, but somehow we got separated in the woods. I ended up near the bottom of Whistling Point, and when I noticed George wasn't with me, I panicked. And then, I don't know how he snuck up on me, but the Whistling Man grabs me. I scream, and he starts laughing. Telling me it's just a joke.
I could stall for time here.
Who was it?
Who was it, Marie? Who was the Whistling Man?
I suddenly recognized it was Chuck. Chuck Brody was the Whistling Man.
Oh.
Laughing away. But then he stops. And he's looking up
Excuse me, I'm so sorry.
at the top of Whistling Point.
What was he looking at? Teddy, what happened next?
Nothing. I mean, it was just...
Teddy?
I'm trying to be better about muting myself when I have to
Fell off
cough like that,
Whistling
but
Where were you?
it's more that I'm sorry that
I,
the cough got picked up on the
You were
microphone,
up there.
and or if it was very
You
loud.
were dressed as the Whistling Man too, and
I didn't push him, God damn it! I just chased him up there, and he kept backing up.
Yeah, of course he did. What did you think he was gonna do? He was scared.
That's what you saw.
you liar.
It's not my fault. He didn't know it was a joke.
It's not my fault I scared the ever-living shit out of him and he thought he was in, you know, mortal danger.
Ugh. You bitch. No one's going to believe
Right, at
this.
no point did he think to take off the mask or to, like, actually say anything.
If she's lying, why the cover-up?
My future was at stake, Nash. You know what
I'm
it's
a
like.
trust fund baby. I don't have any real life skills.
I'm bred for bigger things. I'm going to be mayor of this town, Forrest.
You're not.
And then governor. And then, who knows? What happened that night was tragic.
So what if I dressed up as a
Remember
killer and chased him to death? It's his fault for not understanding the nuance of it. There was nuance.
Gone wrong. So my father sent Clive out to clean it up.
Dang.
Why should a blip ruin my future?
I hate Teddy, and you know what? I don't care if Marie beats him to a pulp. He wasn't a blip.
Marie.
his father covered it up from there. I searched for George's body all night.
Oh, I thought we
You
were.
never
That
found
was
his
a
body,
response.
I
That
looked
was a
all
response to
night.
Teddy and not to
Jogger
Marie.
found him the next morning, washed up on the river. Instead of telling the truth, she lied. She said she found him in the reservoir.
Our jazz runner, Sandra Sharp.
Everyone was in on it, Forrest. Even the coroner wrote a fake report.
Because she
Said
got.
George was drinking.
She was intimidated. She was
I saw
threatened.
him. sorry. For all it's worth, Virginia didn't have much of a choice. She had a sick sister whose treatment she couldn't afford.
I'm not saying that I condone it. I'm not saying that I condone violent actions for revenge. Violence begets violence, yada yada yada. However, in this fictional setting, why the fuck didn't Marie just take out Teddy and leave everyone else alone? Just take out the one dude who caused all this to happen and then call it good. You've solved the problem. The one who was behind it, who facilitated it all, donezo, and you're not hurting other people who were also somewhat of a victim in the situation. Anyway. Been through hell?
Marie. I'm sorry.
You've got no idea.
Again, we're just trying to drag out the conversation.
Started. He shouldn't have pushed my door down the cliff. He should have been punished. It's coming to a stop.
Satan, your steam cage, I condone.
Here.
Listen, I do believe in karmic retribution. And that people should pay. There should be consequences for someone's actions. Where's Marie holding Teddy hostage? Oh shit. Hi, buddy. The football field? The rink. The school gym. I do. Look at that boy. Sorry, me a simp for fictional serial killers? Never.
You're at the football field.
Jesus Christ! Forrest,
Oh.
you idiot! We're in the gym!
Listen, I wasn't
at
listening.
Gallows
I was.
Creek High.
I told you not to do that.
Wait.
Oh well. If Teddy dies, oh well.
Dead too now, isn't he?
He is.
That's fine.
Anyway, I think that about wraps up the interview with Teddy. So,
Look at him though.
Marie, where? Oh my god.
Peggy!
Teddy!
Peggy, it's been so long since I've seen your face. I worried you wouldn't come. And here I was, thinking you'd forgot me.
I'd never forget my own sister.
Is Peggy Maisie?
Sister? Peggy, what's happening? Why are you even there?
Wanna explain, Peggy?
Earlier, while
You did genuinely say this is her sister.
it was from Dawn.
I
She
remember
said
Arcade.
that my sister Marie was there that night George died, and that I should come to the gym for a review.
And when you walked in, you found out.
That my sister is the Whistling Man.
Good to see you too, Peggy.
Why didn't you tell me any of this?
She said that it was my last chance to see my sister. I knew if I told you, you'd try to stop me or
Yeah,
come
because it's a
with me
stupid
for an
idea to
interview
go,
on the
but
radio,
whatever.
And I just...
You should have
Should've
said.
said something. You should have told me.
I know, okay? I should have. But I didn't imagine this situation then, so just... What happened to you, Marie? You just disappeared one day.
Disappeared? I was thrown out, Peggy. I begged Mom and Dad to do something about what happened that night, but did they care? No, they told me to stay quiet. They only cared when they learned I'd been with George, and
Marie, I'm so sorry. I never knew.
it's not your fault. Really, it's Mom and Dad I should be seeing right now, but since they're dead and gone, well, I'll have to settle for the next best thing.
Is that why you attacked Eugene?
Wait. Is that why you went after that kid in the maze? Eugene Stein?
The maze.
Because his parents?
That's right. Eugene's parents were there that night too, but they got themselves killed in a bus accident. And since only their child was left.
Marie, please.
That right there is karmic retribution! Karma has done its thing! They fucking died! Oh my god.
Just like the rest.
Sorry, I...
God.
Marie, I am like half on your side with this, but there are some things where it's like you've taken it a step too far. You're out of control, Marie. Can I?
It hurt to be forgotten.
I never forgot you.
Well, no one's gonna forget now.
No, well, no one's gonna remember.
Peggy, no!
Jesus!
Henry, kill him.
Yeah, Henry's just over here, like, watching us just be like... Henry? Henry? Henry, don't do it! Henry, don't do it!
Do this. There's still time to make the right decision.
Henderson police! Freeze! No! Henry! Get out of there!
I was fully prepared to throw my mannequin arm at him. It's not safe.
Forrest.
Leslie, how's Peggy?
She... Oh my god.
Yeah, no, she's fucking dead.
Where's Marie?
Gone. Bolted right as we got here. The police are right on her heels. Won't be long now. It's over, Forrest.
Hold on. Can I... Oh. The man, the myth, the scream, Forrest Nash survived the Whistling Man. That is so loud. Okay, so Scott died, Tammy died, Peggy died, Murphy died, Teddy died, but look at all the people we saved! That is so loud. Oh, there's an epilogue.
Come in. One suspect is in custody. We've trailed the other suspect into the nearby woods.
You can't pick anything up, and I hate that. I'm definitely gonna play this again to see if I can, like, save everyone. And also maybe kill everyone?
It's a killer frequency.
Song's a bop. We are gonna need a new radio partner. It's true. That was a title drop? I wish I could pick things up. I would love to look at these, but the music is so loud. Only 5 people?
It's a killer frequency. Oh, it's a killer frequency.
It's 22 people? You know what? We didn't do too bad for a first time through. I don't think. I'm still confused about the Murphy one. I don't know.
We have the suspect cornered at the top of Whistling Point.
Oh, she's gonna jump. I don't know how we could have gotten Murphy out of there, but I'll think about it. I'll think on it more. We'll solve it. It's gonna be great. Gonna be loud if I get close.
Put your hands in the air. Get down on the ground.
Also, Roller Ricky, look at him! What a guy.
Don't move. Nobody else has to get hurt.
Ricky is perfect. I fucking love Roller Ricky. They jumped.
Officer Lugo, do you have a visual? Negative. No sign of the suspect anywhere.
This is cool. I really liked this. Sorry, I was listening to the music and them talking, and then also getting distracted by the pictures. This was really good. I, like, super enjoyed this. As much as I, like, you know, ragged on Peggy the whole time. It was really fun, and, like, it was genuinely tense. I wouldn't say that I'm, like, scared. I think I've, like, talked about, like, the difference of just, like, you know, being momentarily scared and, like, full-time, long, permanently terrified. But it had, like, it's really tense moments, and it was really good. Obviously, because the one jump scare fucking got me. I mean, there were a couple of other jump scares as well, but that one in particular, I'm gonna have to go back and try and make sense of the noise that I made, because what the fuck was that? This was like really cool. I like the idea of like, just like being in a having all the action happen around you, and you just kind of have to like direct people. Like, you don't get to see any of it. I really like horror that tends to leave a lot of the stuff up to your imagination. We did get some like audio gore, and some like very brief descriptions of some of the things that happened, but it was mostly just like left up to interpretation based on like characters' responses and like just the general understanding of what the situation was. It's good. It was really good. This was really fun. And I am excited because there are like multiple endings from, or at least like, I know you get achievements for like having everyone survive and like having everyone die, and I would like to play through again at some point on my own time to like see what happens. If there are different endings for those. I assume so. You know, because those feel like really, really big sort of things. But I like this. This was cool. Let me, for now, we are gonna be done for today. And I think we're gonna go raid Polyflumps. It looks like they're doing a real play D&D session with some friends. It's always a nice, wonderful time over there. So if you're gonna raid with us, there are our raid messages. I'm gonna try and figure out what to do next, since we're done with this one now. Allie did gift me a game that looks really, really cool, and I would like to play, and I might do on stream, called The Signifier, which is more mystery than horror, but you know, we like our mystery games as well. So that might be the next game that we do. Or it might not be. We'll see what I'm feeling. For now, thank you as always for being here and hanging out. I appreciate y'all. Happy New Year. This is a good stream to start the new year off with. I liked it. So yeah, we'll probably be back on Wednesday. We'll see how I'm feeling, because, you know, it's post-holidays and I work customer support. But yeah, until then, take care of your dang selves. Have a good rest of your time zone, and we'll see y'all later. Bye, friends.